Minor Disturbance Radio, episode 55, and this is a special edition of MDR because it's my fucking birthday. So it's birthday edition.
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
So don't expect anything serious because this is going to be completely lighthearted. I'm going to drunk call a couple of my friends probably. We're going to talk about some gigs we played. I'm going to do some phone-ins. You're going to have to put them back on if we do a phone-in.
I will put them back on, but for the time being, man, they're bothering me.
All right, man. So
Comfortable. Feels good on my head.
we got the lights down a little bit in here today, too. So
yeah.
I don't know if you can see my eyes, but this morning when I woke up, I looked like I had fought Mike Tyson last night.
Really?
Yeah, here's what happened. I go to take out my contacts last night, and I do it a weird way. I don't know. Have you ever wore contacts before?
Yeah, I wear them right now.
Yeah, I'm blind as a bat, but I do it the bad way, which is I just grab it and pinch it off.
Oh.
Right? And so sometimes if my fingernails ain't manicured properly or...
Don't eat buffalo wings and then take your fucking contact out.
I was thinking no hot sauce, no nothing like that, but I think it was a cat hair.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm allergic to that. Well, I think everybody's eyeball is allergic to cat
Yeah, you're
hairs.
probably right.
You have a cat, though.
Yeah, I do. But I must have had a hair on my finger somehow from petting her or something. And then...
Could be just some dander.
It could have been. I mean, completely bloodshot red where it was... red,
Like looked
ugly.
like you got punched in the eye.
Weird, yeah. And then you're self-conscious of it, and you're trying to nurse it and visine. Anyway, so if my eye looks weird, it's not pot. It's it was a cat hair in my eye.
Because it's only one eye.
Yeah.
'Cause if it's only one eye, then the only real drug option is you did a hit a microdot in an eye. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, my eyes are kind of bloodshot all the time anyway, because I'm pretty sure I'm on the verge of a heart attack at any given moment. My health isn't the best.
Okay.
I don't run or anything.
Yeah.
I freaking
near constant low level chest pains.
near constant, barely can breathe,
Oh,
bloodshot
shit.
eyes.
Yeah.
Does your left arm go numb?
Sometimes.
Just start coughing. Make yourself cough. You know how you do.
Do you have to grab your nuts at all?
It helps.
Okay.
But yeah, that's what they always say. Just start
coughing.
Get
Yeah.
things, and get an aspirin.
Well, now that we got that out of the way and I explained why I'm so ugly today. Oh, and also I took a shower this morning, put my hat on, and wore my hair in a hat all day, and then just took it off right before the podcast. So you ever done that?
Oh, not before the podcast.
Oh, it'll
but-
fuck your hair up. You'll have some weird cowlick going this way. It's all fucked up.
Well, I'm sorry you're feeling bad on your special day.
Yeah. Well, hey, I'm 43 today. How depressing is that? Ooh. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But there's one thing I wanted to get to really quick. And a buddy of mine, Ted Renner, he's the singer for Hong Kong Sleepover. We're going to get him on the phone, actually. Let's do that right now.
Yeah, okay.
See if he answers.
Hello.
Hey, Ted, what's up, man?
Hey, how's it going, Brian?
Hey, good, man. We're live on MDR right now.
And by live, we mean he's going to edit the shit out of this and then post it on the internet
Right.
5 days
How
from
are
now.
you doing, Travis?
I'm doing all right. How you doing, Ted?
Good, man.
Hey, Ted.
It's Jeff Hazen.
Yeah, Jeff Hazen's here as well.
Oh, cool, man. How's it going?
All right.
Yeah. So it's my birthday episode. I'm 43 today.
You wanted to say
Happy
34.
birthday, man.
Yeah, I almost said that. Thanks, Ted. But we were just talking about you have a special show kind of coming up, and the reason I say it's special is because there's not too many times where musicians do something for other people, and I was really honored to be asked to help promote this show that you have coming up. Would you explain what the show is?
Yeah. We're doing, the guys in the Hong Kong Sleepover and I have been talking, and, we get called every now and then for benefits, and it's always really a good time to help, but it seems like it's always, a couple of years in between, and we had this conversation not too long ago where we said, look, we should do something every year. We want to put together something where every year we pick some kind of a cause, and we get the musicians together and we get the people together and we have a good time. So we've started what we're referring to as the first rock and roll for kids. And so we researched some charities and we got together and we've thought that, maybe the best thing to do was to pick St. Jude's. Because you watch the commercials and it's bad enough when anybody is sick or when anybody's hurt, but when you got a kid, that's the kind of thing that really kind of pulls at your heartstrings. So we wanted to set something up, have it benefit the kids, have it be an annual thing, get the bands together, get people to come out and just have a good time and have everything be for a good cause.
Absolutely.
That sounds terrific.
So what's the show, Ted? Who's on the bill? Who'd you get on the show? Where's it at? When's it going to happen?
We're going to have it in Macomb here at a place called the Outskirts, which is it used to be the skate lane here in Macomb, but it's a big, huge venue. We got Mike O'Neill is coming to run sound, and then it's going to be us, another band from here in Macomb locally called Two Toy, and then a band out of Burlington called Caught in the Crib, which is a group of younger musicians. They're all in their like late teens, early 20s. Really, really good, solid rock. And then the guys from 1152 are coming down. So it's their
Excellent.
first time coming down here to Macomb.
Well, that's really cool, man. When you said that you were going to do this show and you asked me to promote it, you know that I was really kind of, inspired, I guess, by what you're doing there, because usually anytime a musician puts something together like this, there's some sort of hidden agenda or there's something to gain from it. And knowing you, Ted, I know that you just are reaching into your heart and realizing that if you can get a bunch of people together, you could make something positive happen and have fun at the same time. And I really admire that, man.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Brian. That means a lot. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, it's all for, everybody wants to go, everybody wants to get together, everybody wants to hang out and watch a band, and have a couple of drinks. And, the guys and all the other bands that I talked to, as soon as I said, hey, I can't give you a dime, I can't promise you anything, but it'll be a good time, you get to play a show, and whatever money we raise will go to kids. There wasn't one person that hesitated. Everyone was like, I'm down.
Awesome.
Let's go. Let's do it. So
yeah, kudos to 1152 too for getting on that bill. All the other bands as well, but I know 1152. They're from here, so they're going to be coming from, the Quad City area to go up to Macomb and play. And I know how far of a drive that is because I used to drive that all the time to play in Split Personality with you, Ted. So I remember the drives.
I don't actually know
Yep.
how far that is because I've actually never been down to Macomb. So
it's about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes.
that's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yep. So
But I tell you what, it sucks at like 11:30 at night when you're like, okay, we're done with our show. We gotta
right.
go. Bye.
Yeah.
11:30. What are you talking about? We didn't get done till like 2 there or something.
Yeah.
And then we went.
yeah.
And then we went to Hardee's and threw down some thick burgers and
Right.
then went back to your house and downed about a case of beer and passed out on your floor for a couple hours and then got up and drove home.
Yeah. When we were young anymore, I drink like 3 beers and I'm like, where's the bed? I'm fucking done. Screw this.
Yeah. And just while I have you on the phone here, Ted, I'm really kind of surprised. I'm not surprised really, but I hear a lot of people talking about Hong Kong Sleepover locally. New fans every time. I guarantee every time you play somewhere, it's impressive enough that people are jumping on the bandwagon. I think you guys have a really good thing going, and congratulations on that. I hope that you can move some CDs.
Thank you very much. We love playing up there. It's the crowd is always very nice and very very friendly to us. We played up there at the Newground Theater just last Saturday with As Big as a Mouse and 1152. And man, that was a great time. So
yeah, sorry I missed that one, man. It's we had a bunch of kids stuff going on and family stuff. I just couldn't slip out. That happens when you're 43.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
right,
right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Happy birthday again, man. Good for you.
Hey, thanks a lot, Ted. I appreciate it, man. Hey, and we got to get you on the show again.
Yep.
Yeah, whenever you want. Let me know. I'll drive up. I'll be happy to come back.
Yeah, bring that crazy fucking bass player of yours too.
I will, man. I think Waylon would be great to be on the show. I do.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, and hey, and thanks for being in the NBR Jam too. I can't wait to do this thing, man.
This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
I'm really into that. So
Yeah, cool, man. Well, thanks a lot, Ted, for doing a call in, and we'll see you soon, buddy.
thank you very much. You guys have a good night.
We will, man.
We'll see you, Ted.
Good night,
Thanks.
Ted.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
What a gentle
Absolutely.
soul. What a kind and calm human being Ted
Yeah.
Renner is, man.
And
When you see him, he's like,
He's fucking getting down.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here's about Ted. Ted's one of the funniest fuckers you ever meet. First of all, aside from if you're just hanging out with him somewhere, you're gonna have a laugh. The guy should have been a comedian.
Yeah.
But anyway, and he's a super nice guy too. He was always really accommodating to me. I was kind of a hired gun coming into a band that was already established, replacing another guitar player, and he was super nice. You know how that can go, though.
Yeah, well, if you're in there and that, you know, you got shoes to fill, and the people might not necessarily have the best interpersonal skills anyway, you just don't know how it's going to be. It's nice if you can get into a band where the people aren't just already on your ass and being a fucking dick.
See, every band that I've ever been in, besides Third Rail, I join a reincarnation of the band. Say, like, if there's a successful band, like this band I'm talking about, Split Personality, up in that area, I remember when I went and saw them when Tony Higbee was playing bass, and we just became friends. He said, come see my band, we're doing some show up here. And it's wall to wall, people just in a frenzy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, hell yes. And they're talking to me about maybe playing guitar in his band, you know, and then like a month later after they work me in, we play the same place and there's 10 people.
Right.
And they're all flipping me off.
You're right.
You know? I've never had a situation where I go into it and it's like, oh, hell yeah, you know?
Yeah.
Being the replacement guy or whatever.
Right,
But
yeah.
in Third Rail, though, it was kind of different. I mean, the crowd was built in.
Yeah.
I still don't know. I still don't know why them guys don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, at least once or twice a year.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many people that like that band. I'm not saying it's a good band. I'm not saying it's a bad band, but I'm saying they have a lot of friends and it makes it a fun gig to play, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I also know, though, that even just the lowest levels of obligation can be a major fucking turnoff to playing music, you know? If there is even just a shadow of have to in it, it can fucking ruin it, man.
There's another band that reminds me of called Drop Hammer.
What are you talking about? Reminds you of what?
And the hammer just dropped.
There's a bunch of people out there that are, come on, one more
Yeah.
time, you
Yeah.
gotta bring
Oh,
it back.
you
One
mean
more
with-
time.
I work with a couple guys that
You
are
mean
just-
the 3 people that are doing that constantly? Yeah, I understand.
Who are your 3 people? Because I've got
I bet
3
they're the
people.
same.
Yeah,
Well,
I bet they're the same people.
Jeff Hazen,
You're right.
Yeah,
that
for
guy.
one.
and
Look, man,
Jeff Hollowell,
I'm not.
right.
Yeah, see, them are the 2 people I know right there.
Benny.
Yeah, Benny, of course. Yeah, and you know what the fucking funny thing is? If we did it, they'd be like, "Oh, I got pool tonight, man. Sorry." You know,
Yeah, right. I got darts. I got darts.
Put it on YouTube, man. I'd like to see it. Yeah, you know, I don't have anything against doing Drop Hammer stuff, but you got to understand that shit was 25 years ago.
Yeah, wow.
You know, when I wrote the first record and the second record, there it was 96 and I think 2000.
Right.
So at least the last record I did was 16 years ago for Drop Hammer. You know, but you could pick up my latest CD that I did fucking 8 years ago.
Hey.
You know, everybody asks me, they go, can we get the Drop Hammer CDs anymore? Because for some reason there's this resurgence of people that didn't catch it when it was happening, and then they hear of it and then they want to hear it. And I'm like, why? It sucks compared to what production wise. You know how it is, Travis. You and I are the same way.
Yeah.
Something that was recorded on a reel-to-reel 2-inch tape back in 1996 is not going to stand a chance, especially when your budget was like $1,200.
No.
You know,
Yeah.
it's not going to stand a chance to what like Jose can do in 8 hours.
There'll be a trade-off. I mean, the thing that you did on the reel-to-reel, there'll be something that sounds in its own way more natural than what Jose would do. But at the same time, Jose is able to use, very good facsimiles of all of the equipment that you need to go with the 2-inch machine in order to get it to sound like fucking Fleetwood Mac. You know what I mean? You've got that built into the box now, so
Yeah.
it's kind of a trade-off. It's harder to get that natural sound, but if you know what you're doing with the kind of simulations.
And what I tend to forget, though, and I'm sure that most musicians, when you create something, it's such a personal thing that you get so close to it, and it affects you differently than it does the listener that's hearing it for the first time. Every song that was on any of my records, I have already heard at least 150 times because I recorded them at my house first.
Yeah.
Right. And I rehearsed them and I organized them and I orchestrated them and I wrote the lyrics and I heard them this way and I did the backups. I did all this stuff, so I knew it inside and out. And then when we recorded it and put it out on a record, there's things that just didn't, you didn't do perfect. So you look back on it and you go, God, man, it's so, you can't even stand listening to it
Didn't
around
translate.
people. But the people that heard it for the first time out of the box,
To them, that's the way it is.
they're eating a whole bite of cake with the icing and the cake and some ice cream mixed in it. You know what I mean? And for me, I remember I picked that ice cream and I picked that flour and I picked this. All the ingredients, and they're just getting the bite of it. It's kind of like going to a restaurant. You eat this main course of whatever it is, and you're like, God, it's fucking good. And the only you don't go into the kitchen. As soon as you go into the kitchen and see how it's made, it doesn't taste as good.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. But I mean, you could even, I was just thinking about the same thing under a little bit different context, but it is almost the whole idea of like when Sarah makes a taco for me, I swear it tastes better than when I make a taco for myself.
Absolutely. I've talked to my wife about that.
Or fucking, have you ever noticed that making chocolate chip cookies like ruins the eating of chocolate chip cookies? I don't know if it's because you eat all the fucking dough on the way or what.
Making of macaroni and cheese ruins macaroni and cheese for me.
Yeah.
I'm totally with you on that because that's the whole joy of going to a restaurant. You wait, here's food. You're not fucking around with anything.
No.
Absolutely, man. I agree with you 100%. If it's made for you, it tastes better.
There's something about it. It's like maybe I'm going off the rails here, but it's kind of like getting jerked off versus jerking off.
Let me think about that for a second.
It's kind of like, you know what I mean? It is kind of there's something. It's like a surprise. You know what I mean? It's more of a surprise. You're not in control of it.
You're not in control.
You're not in control. You don't have the built-in biofeedback directing your action. You know what I mean? And basically fucking ruining it. You know what I mean? So anyway,
I guess so. But anyway, I don't know how Drop Hammer came up again in the damn podcast.
Naturally, it led to a conversation that involved talking about jerking off.
All of our friends, and thank you guys for sharing my birthday with me and watching the podcast. And whoever does end up watching the podcast here, and who has been watching the podcast before, I totally appreciate it. This is something for me that is kind of like a labor of love. I love to do it, but I'm such an insecure fucker that every time I do it, I'm like, who gives a fuck, man? Brian, who cares what you think, Brian?
Right.
But the thing is, I've been a musician in the scene for a long fucking time, and I've carved a groove for myself. And if anybody's going to do a podcast about the local scene, I think that I'm just as viable as any fucking buddy to do it.
Right.
It's just, I am insecure, and I kind of think that why do people care? But they do. So I just have to take that the way it is, right? And go, they do care.
Yeah.
So,
or maybe they don't, but because, I'm just saying,
fuck you then, Travis.
I'm just saying this, Brian, that whether or not people care about what you say or not, I don't think is necessarily material to the pursuit of
what
talking. You know what I mean? That just putting out the fucking waves, man. Putting out the echoes.
I love it.
Sending out the ripples in the pond.
I love it. But every time Drop Hammer comes up, I get really uncomfortable.
Sorry.
And my drummer, Terry Hodges from Drop Hammer, great drummer. Love the guy. Great guy. Fucking, we have a brotherhood that is, he's my favorite drummer in the world. And Matt Finn wouldn't be mad about that at all because he knows when you've done an original band with somebody and you've put your blood, sweat, and tears and you believed in this one thing together.
Yeah.
It goes miles, you know what I mean?
Like they did too. You know what I mean? Like you did and they did.
Yeah, Terry was my biggest fan. So he would always build me up, call me up at random times and say, Brian, man, don't stop doing what you do. You fucking got it. And I want to be on that ride.
Awesome.
So, to have a drummer that's like that's as good as Terry, is good looking. You seen the lips on the guy? Come on, man. But no, he's a great guy. Anyway, he told me, he's like, why do you always try to, shortchange Drop Hammer? Every time it comes up, you're like, oh, well, fuck them guys. Who cares about that, But anyway, that was my tattoo, and everybody's got their band that they really, that was their shit, and
well, when you're trying to like not be hurt over how things went that that wasn't what you planned for, and not be hurt by having to cut loose of some former identity. Every time somebody brings it back up, it's like a little bit of fucking backsliding, like if you don't take steps in that moment to distance yourself from it and be like, nope, fuck that, then you can get sucked back into the pain of.
But do you ever get that? Do you ever have do you have a certain band? Do you have a certain band that was like your shit? That you're like, man, that nothing will ever touch that. That was my shit. I was at the right age, the right time. That's my badge.
Well, the Simon Says Uncle, and then
A cover band, though.
oh,
I'm not belittling it
Right.
because there's a lot of people that are in the scene that have never been in an original band.
Yeah, the closest I got was when I was in Sugar Nipples, and we recorded, the second disc, which there was a lot of guest musicians on there. I was only on like 4 or 5 songs, I think.
I mean, Travis, you hear about Marianas all the time, don't you?
I wouldn't say all the time, but from people who were there for that, yeah, they'll be like, man, I missed hearing those songs or, like that. And I'm like, hey, man, I still play a couple of them.
Yeah.
Come out and see my new thing,
See,
if we ever play.
If somebody likes a song that you wrote, I mean, that would be the best. If you got a friend or whatever, it's like, man, I
got
feel
to-
what you were feeling.
I got to the point where there were songs that I wrote that I wanted people to like more than other songs I wrote, and then they liked the ones that I didn't think they should like. And
That happens
just
all
makes
the
me insane.
time.
It just makes
Exactly.
me insane. Why you like this throwaway shit and not this shit that I fucking like poured over and
Or how about this? You put out a record in 1996, and there's 6 songs that you wrote, and there's 2 songs that your bass player wrote, and 80% of everybody you talk to's favorite song is written by the bass player.
damn it.
You know what I mean? To the point where you get so jealous and pissed off, you just remove them from
Yeah.
the CD. You know what I mean? I don't even want them to
Getting rid
hear
of
that. You know,
Getting rid of
You know,
that.
Yeah.
That's polluting the waters there.
Yeah, Tony Higbee wrote "Gravity" and "Friends" on our first CD, and everybody's like, "Dude, that's my favorite Drop Hammer song ever."
Yeah,
And I'm like,
that's the
"Did you hear the other 15 songs that I wrote on the 2?" And they're like, "Yeah, you sound kind of like Slaughter. I kind of like the way that Tony sang. It doesn't matter, and that's hard to take, man.
It is.
But people are being honest, and we're talking about a real personal fucking matter here.
Yeah.
When you go out and you play a guitar and sing to a crowd, if they say like, "Yeah, you're not that good, I don't like you," that hurts like a motherfucker. That's like going up to a girl and saying, "Yeah, you're not that pretty."
Yeah.
It's not a good feeling, man, but they don't think that they're hurting your feelings, or they're going to lie to you, and you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell that shit. It seems like anybody that's ever told me that I'm awesome, I think they're lying to me.
And when I say you can tell, what I mean is I'm going to project that onto everyone
Right.
who gives me a compliment.
Right, exactly.
They're all liars.
Yeah, especially if they're wearing like, I don't know, like a Winger shirt,
Right,
or,
yeah.
or even an AC/DC shirt.
Yeah, they do something that gives them away as being a person who has no fucking taste in art whatsoever.
God, I'm having fun now. Thank God we're back in the MDR studio doing a podcast.
I know,
miss
man.
it.
Shit, dude.
I'm sorry I had to put it off last week. I've been doing a lot of work to the house.
Yeah.
We're moving the studio to somewhere else. I got.
Well, everybody thinks that this
We're in a
show is
basement.
already in a basement.
Yeah.
I think the plan is that we will actually be in a basement.
My 2 kids are kicking me out of my studio.
Ah, shit.
This is going to be a bedroom for one of my kids, and then I've got to move down to my own my man cave down in the
You're
basement.
going to leave
so-
the guitars, right?
No, they're going downstairs, man. They're going downstairs.
Yep. We're gonna have to climate control it down there, control the humidity.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, hey, Jeff, I wanted to talk to you about something. I mean, this show, we get really personal. I like to get deep into how we really feel as musicians and whatever we get, the success wise, and the playing big shows or whatever. But Drop Hammer just played their first Kelly's gig, which is
Dive Bomb.
I'm sorry. What'd I say?
You said drop hammer.
I did?
Wishful thinking.
Holy fuck.
Wishful thinking.
Anyway, Drop Hammer will never do it. That's the last band I would want to do Kelly's with.
People be like,
I'd be watching people turn around.
I never heard this shit before. in my
I'd be
life.
watching people turn around and leave. It doesn't matter. Dream Theater could play at
Yeah.
Kelly's and people will turn around and leave. Okay?
Yeah.
Anyway, Dive Bomb starts with a D. That's what happened.
What it is.
It started with a
Keep it
D.
to the D's, man.
Dive Bomb played in the same slot that Third Rail used to play at Kelly's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And when I said that we were going to be doing that, what did you think of that?
I got excited right away because, it's a big crowd and everything. And the more people, it's just the better.
You're such a sweet guy. Listen
to that.
There's another side of Jeff that hasn't came out yet. You know what I mean?
Hasn't came all over.
He's lurking there in the background.
I mean, I remember when I played with Third Rail, you were like in the front row one year, and you were like, yeah.
Faced, been there since noon.
And I was thinking in my head, just like any other musician, when you see a big crowd and everybody's into it and it's a big stage and whatever, and you're watching them, that you want to be on stage. you want to get up and do that. That's like watching porno for a musician. You know, it's like, God, the crowd's into it. I want to play Talk Dirty to Me right fucking now. If they ask me to get up, I'm up. You know, because it's a big crowd, right? And then when I thought that once I said that we were doing that you would be like excited about it, but he was so low key about it. All right, man, let's do it. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, well, there was a little bit of, are they going to do it or we're not going to do it?
Well, I left it open. See, this is
I didn't want to get my hopes
it was a
up
real
too high.
political thing for me, because when Benji called when I called Benji and said, "Hey, man, by the way, I booked that yearly gig at Rascals that we always do." If for people that don't know, Third Rail didn't play all year long for a couple years, and then we just saved it up for one show at Rascals the weekend before Kelly's, and then we went and played Kelly's, and then we just stopped for another year. We're so busy, you know what I mean, with other things. The guys are, and I called him this time and go, "Hey, I got the gig at Rascals, and we make hella money too, by the way." Anyway, sorry, we take calls now. So
was that caller 10? It must have been caller number 9.
Actually, that was the old co-host Jeff.
Oh, Jeff Covert?
Yeah, that was Covert right there.
Oh,
Probably
man.
calling me back. He's probably getting off work at John Deere and like, what the fuck did Miner want? You
We
know?
should put his ass on, man.
No, I asked him to come on the show.
Yeah.
I asked him to come sit in. You know, that'd be fun. It's my birthday. I don't give a shit. But anyway, we did that once a year. I had the gig booked at Rascals, and in my mind, I'm like, money, because it's gonna be packed.
Yeah.
Third Rail packs, and especially if you play once or twice a year,
People know they got to
people
get
come
in
out.
when they can
It's
get.
kind of a, it's kind of a big deal. So I called Benji, the guitar player for Third Rail, and I was like, "Hey, bro, I got the gig at Rascals, man, and then we're playing the Kelly's gig, same slot we had last time." And he's like, "Yeah, man, I just ain't feeling it." And I've said this before. That's exactly what he said. "Yeah, I'm just not feeling it anymore. I don't want to do it." And I was floored.
Yeah, you would have gone in with your whole assumptive close, which is, hey, I booked that thing, and it's already a done deal, and we're rocking, man. It's going to be great. And he's all like, nah.
And I watched the lure of that, whatever it was that still has me hooked, that line or shot or dragon, whatever it is that I'm still chasing. He had broke his addiction to it.
Wow.
And part of me admired it.
Yeah.
And the other part of me was like, "You dumb motherfucker." Are you kidding me? Now I've got these dates, and then I have to fill them with Dive Bomb. And nothing against Dive Bomb. I'm not saying, if you wanted to compare Third Rail and Dive Bomb talent wise or anything like this, or crowd wise,
Or juggle their balls.
or juggle their balls, whatever. It doesn't matter. They're two fucking 80s tribute bands. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But my point is like, people wanted to see Third Rail because they have so many friends. I don't know what it is, but we do the show with Dive Bomb, and the reception, I thought, was the same as what we got with Third Rail. I thought that it was a really good reception for us. I think a lot of them might have thought they were seeing Third Rail at Kelly's.
They might not. We didn't have any banners or up or.
No, we didn't bring our scrims or anything, which is my fault.
Yeah.
I tried to make it as easy as
wouldn't
possible.
fit in the limo.
Yeah. Here's what I did. Here's how lazy I am. Okay, I'm a band leader, right? Am I supposed to be the band leader?
Somebody's got to lead. You can't have 2 leaders. So
Am I the band leader?
you're the band leader.
Okay, is that how I'm looked at for this fucking band? Okay. So I'm like,
I tried it once. Is like, no, we're not doing that.
the gig is Saturday night. Okay. Thursday night before the Saturday. So 2 days before the show, I start looking for a limo. Because I'm like, I'm thinking about how you get parked back there, and there's so many bands. You only get 15 minutes between bands. Your shit's got to be there. You got to be ready to go. Getting in there sucks because there's so many people. Getting out sucks.
Right.
Yeah, it's time for a limo. So I pick up my phone. I call A1 limo or QC limo or whatever. I'm like, hey man, my name's Brian. I'm looking for a limo, and for Kelly's, they're like, yeah, fuck you.
Yeah.
Click. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
Like, how
They're
many
both
people are getting
solid.
limos
Yeah.
that night on St.
Yeah.
Patrick's Day?
Yeah.
You dickhead.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, ugh. And so I just put it on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, Matt Wadlow. I don't know if it's Wadlow or Wadlow, but it's Matt. It's a cool fucking guy that comes to our gigs sometimes. He's like, hey man, my buddy owns a limousine place, and so I called him up, and he's like, yeah man, we got one extra, and man, I'll tell you, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Because who cares about the money at that point? You know what I mean? Are they good? Do you like them? What do we got here?
That's very different.
Here's Hazen brought this over for us.
I was at Hy-Vee and I was looking
You
for
can see these.
the Iron Maidens, but
Ooh,
they're
that thing is-
expensive.
I wanted I was just looking for something cool and different, trying to do the
Well, I can tell you this.
Dettl.
This beer right here is hoppy as fuck.
It's got to be good or bad. Ruination.
Yeah, right. It ranks right up there with Tombstone Pizza
Oh,
for
stop.
great fucking names of.
See, we've talked about.
products that-
Oh, okay. I was gonna say the names. I thought we were talking about best
Great
pizzas
names.
again. I don't want to get into
no, we're
that.
not getting into best pizzas. I'm just saying that it's just one of those things that just sort of casts a bit of a pall on the fucking
You know what's fucking
quality
weird?
of the product.
I'm done with the subject of the Kellys thing. Actually, I shouldn't be.
No.
Like I said, we got the limo from Matt Wadlow. He fucking hooked us up. Thank you very much, buddy. That was awesome. The limo ride was great. The driver was cool as fuck.
Cool.
Yeah, we all met here at my house.
But we didn't do it to try to look cool. We did it for ease.
No.
We did it so we
I did it to look
park.
cool as fuck. You know how many times I got in and out of the limo before we played just to
Yep.
do it?
Yep.
You know, I got a new crowd of spectators now by the urinals because all the
Somebody
the,
didn't see me.
the porta potties, the limo's pulled up back there by the back of the stage, right? And then I was like, I got out the first time, I was like, oh, only 5 people saw me do that. So I got to go back into the limo for a while. And then I got to come back out again and do my Paul Stanley hair shake.
Were you wearing sunglasses?
Here's what's really fucked up. No,
I bet you
No, I
were.
wasn't. But here's what's
fucker.
really kind of funny. Beforehand, you were kind of concerned about what the amp was going to sound like. So you wanted to borrow my distortion pedal, my Boss
Yeah,
distortion.
don't bring an amp. We got
Yeah, it's all supplied. JCM 800, was it 800 or 900?
it was a JCM 2000.
Oh, yeah.
Ace
Oh.
Frehley. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, that will be good.
And it sounded great,
Yeah,
man.
the Ultra Channel
Until-
on the JCM
I know.
2000.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
It sounded great. But he got, he brought the distortion pedal
Yeah.
just in case. But
Yeah.
here's the funny thing. We got this limo, and we're like, hey, we got to stop by Walgreens first because we didn't have a battery. The 9 volt in
you
it was
gotta get a
dead.
fucking 9
So we
volt.
got to stop and get batteries. And we're in our stage gear. You know what I mean? Everybody's Ed's top hat.
Yeah.
All the
Eyeliner.
weird shit that he wears.
Yeah.
And Matt's dressed up. You look like Vince Neil just got off a Harley. And so we pulled up to the Walgreens, and he just pulled right in front of the Walgreens too. He didn't park it.
Oh, awesome.
Right in front. And
Yeah.
then here comes the
Which
door.
Walgreens? Which Walgreens? The one right up here on
Kimberly, yeah.
and Eastern?
Kimberly.
Okay, yeah.
And so we pull up right in front of the thing, and it's like 8:30. It's dark out. And the door kicks open, and we're smoking in there. We weren't supposed to be.
Right,
Sorry.
yeah.
But we were. We didn't leave any on the carpet or anything. But and so the smoke rolls out, right? And then I'm watching it happen because I'm in the front by the driver. I'm taking up like 3 seats. I got my girl, and I got Jeff next to me, and
Right.
I'm living it up. I'm like, this is fucking. I love
Yeah.
this. And
I had Brian next to me.
so I see the back door open up, and out goes Matt and Hazen to go get a battery, and then Ed goes, "Hey boss, I think I'm gonna need to smoke, man, so I'm gonna step out." And so he gets out of the limo, and I can just sense that there's housewives that are driving by because I
Yeah.
can see cars pulling in the lot, and here's Ed outside of this limousine smoking a Virginia Slim, probably,
fuck.
or fucking whatever he smokes, and it ain't Marlboros.
Cloves.
Yeah, it's something that's like $1.40 a pack,
lipstick,
yeah.
out there
No,
with his fucking
yeah,
top hat
GPC.
and his fucking wrestling mania fucking makeup
fuck.
and whatever.
Looking like the Ultimate Warrior.
And then here's Vince Neil coming back, and I swear to God, I'll bet you that at least 3 housewives went back to their house after getting tampons or whatever they had
Yeah.
to get. And they went, "Oh my God, honey, Twisted Sister was at the fucking Walgreens."
Yeah.
I swear to God, I was thinking it the whole time. I was like, they probably think we're Twisted Sister or something. Just
Somebody
by
famous.
Ed. Yeah, somebody weird. Because look at us, man.
Saturday night, it's not Halloween.
Yeah. What's
No,
up?
Exactly.
What's up?
Exactly. These are people that are that are famous enough to look like fucking creeps in public.
Exactly. and to not have any shame about it either.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And so what does Matt come
my
back?
getup.
You come back with like 4 Red Bulls and 2 9 volts or something. And here's Matt brings out a bottle of Jameson.
Yeah.
And it's still got the big fucking like
the built-in
alarm thing covering it.
Shit.
Well, I think it had a built-in shot glass.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, Matt,
we didn't
stole
use.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's stolen.
He just knows that
Yeah.
he's gonna get blue ink all over his hands, breaking the fucking
And
bottle.
so what are
open.
we listening to? The only CD I could find in the garage real quick to take with us, and it's our set list. We're listening to fucking
Poison.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Poison. It was all the cool shit. We were listening to like Bullet Boys,
Oh,
the
yeah.
Motley Crue,
Yeah.
the cooler stuff. But
You had
still,
some Tora Tora on there too for some reason.
yeah, but still, I mean, we pull up, doors woof, fly open, smoke comes out, and it's like, can't stop a heartbeat. and we're getting out. Yeah, what's up? And, there's people are looking at us like, who are these buttholes?
That's fucking cool.
We should have had a camera following around us.
Yeah,
but I don't care who you are, man.
We get a videographer.
Something inside you, and for me especially, I think that I'm lucky to have this feeling, and it is. I don't care if I look like a dick. In my mind, I'm living out whatever that fucking carrot was that I was chasing for a second. Just let me be in the moment. Let me feel like I'm special right now, and I'll do my thing. I'll go back home, and tomorrow I'll clean your carpet. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I'm saying?
I do know exactly what you're saying.
You get that every once in a while, and I was taking it.
I think that most of the time when you run into somebody and you're thinking to yourself, wow, this person is a fucking dick. Actually, that's the moment where they're doing that exact thing. You know what I mean? They're chasing that carrot themselves, living out their fantasy of being in charge or whatever to get that feeling. But
there's nothing worse than fucking blowing the lyrics to Jump and Once Bitten, Twice Shy in front of fucking thousands of people.
Somebody play the backing tracks at the wrong sample rate. What happened?
I'm notorious for completely blowing lyrics. Like I'll sing the third verse first on accident, and then the band's trying to figure out.
I think it's forgivable with David Lee Roth lyrics, dude. I really do. Yeah, exactly. Or
sounds all right.
Bubulado looking for a moopy. What the fuck did he say?
Yeah, exactly.
You ask him, he's like, I don't know.
Yeah, who cares? He don't know either. I watched him blow Ice Cream Man live in front of freaking like 1 million people. It seemed like he was like, I forgot the word.
Yeah, I remember. I forgot. That's the way they started off the US Festival. They come out and he's like, I forgot the fucking words. It's like you just got paid $1.4 million to do this set, and you didn't even fucking know the words.
And that's when I know that's rock. That's rock and roll, because the fact that happened was probably even cooler to people.
Sure.
Fucking A, man. Yeah. Fuck the man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Dude.
The man wants you to sing the lyrics right. You just party.
Yeah,
that's your job.
It's about us, not them.
Right. It's just a weird thing. Rock and roll is such a weird fucking thing. My wife and I talk about it all the time. We talk about how these guys that just play drums and fuck groupies and do lines of coke make more money than the guy that saved your mom's life in the hospital.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a weird deal.
Yeah.
And you get that feeling when you go to a huge concert, or you see this big concert on TV and you see the band on stage. There's 4 guys standing up there just doing their thing. What was it? It was the other night I was watching Motley Crue in 1984.
Whoa.
Was it what festival was that? It was some outside thing. They had a rainbow behind them.
I don't know.
We or us or
no. If you're talking about the US Festival,
it must have been
that's
the
the one that Van Halen headlined. That they pretended to parachute in the whole 9 yards.
It was 3-day thing.
3 days, yeah.
Yeah,
and it was put together by Mike Wozniak, the guy who was the other founder of Apple Computer.
So the camera's showing the stage, and they're playing some intro of. It was like a weird, like demonic sounding thing, going on. And they're panning, the camera's panning around what looks like an audience. It looks like a bunch of maggots fucking crawling all over each other, right?
Yeah.
It's this camera that's high up, and it's looking at this massive audience of people that are just crushed. It's like flesh, just like squirming. Right. And if you squint your eyes,
fucking Inferno.
If you squint your eyes, you're like, what the fuck is that? Why are they doing that? And then you look, and there are people suffocating and sweating and fucking about to fall out, and they're spraying water on them. They're hosing them down with water, and these people are just rushing to the stage, and people are getting pulled over the wall, passed out, and it's horrible. And until the horizon of people, you know what I mean? And then out comes these guys with makeup and this poofy blonde hair. It's horrible voice.
Yeah.
Sucks shit.
Yeah.
Okay. And here's this Motley Crue, and they're singing these songs like, I want to get with your mama. Ow. And I'm like, what the fuck? They're all they are hook, line, and sinker for whatever that show is.
Absolutely.
And they will almost go to death to see it, to get close to it.
Oh, shit.
And it's amazing to see that. I was watching it, on my couch eating a bowl of Reese's Poofs or whatever. And I'm like, wow, what is it that this is? What is that?
But you know what? You couldn't have that today.
No?
You could, with just the way things are. I mean, you'd have 100 people getting killed.
Yeah,
stabbed.
probably.
You couldn't get that many people together for.
Well, I know there are still festivals. I mean,
but they're not like that one.
Yeah, probably not. But they tried to do Woodstock, for a while, and then that didn't work because they burned the fucking place down.
Yeah, and then
that
many people together. nowadays,
Yeah.
you're gonna have.
It's a weird thing to look at because
Ozfest is dead.
once you get to be 43, happy birthday to me, 43, and you look at that now, you go, wow, what was that? I mean, when we look back at that 100 years from now, it's going to be something that's going to be hard to explain to each other then.
Sure.
Because you know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. I think you're right about the fact that we can't really quite do the same thing now. Although I'm searching my conscience to try to figure out, what the reason is. I know that it can't be reduced to any one reason, but maybe it has something to do with what the difference is between being the person that writes the song.
What I think it is, Travis?
Versus, what is it?
What I think it is that barricade of security guards and that wall, that steel wall that was braced, holding that massive amount of people back.
Yeah.
Them people in the audience thought that beyond that barricade was freedom.
Okay. I like
They're
that.
moving towards freedom. They want to be a part of whatever that freedom is.
Yeah.
And they're looking at their gods. And I hate to say that.
No, I can dig that.
Motley Crue's gods. No, I'm saying that the people on the stage up there, all Vince Neil had to say at that point was, kill that guy, and that guy's gone.
Yeah, right.
There's this power, there's this whatever it is with their gods at that moment because they have, look at that worshiping audience.
But that doesn't really necessarily speak to why we can't have it today, though. I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but I don't know if that tells us what has changed.
Tolerance.
Maybe that's
people don't tolerate shit anymore. People get pissed off and
people know. I think maybe it speaks to this point. Maybe it's that now we know that on the other side of that barrier isn't freedom. You know what I mean? Like maybe now we know that the thing that we used to look to as a god, the emperor wears no clothes.
This is a lot deeper than you wanted to get.
Yeah.
Well, let's ask Matt Finn.
Oh yeah.
What the fuck he thinks about it? I'm drunk calling people tonight on my birthday. I don't care. He probably won't answer his phone. No. He's smart, man. He knows that.
You want to be like, fuck you.
Cheers, buddy.
Try it.
All right. He won't answer his phone.
I don't think it's twist off. He got an opener on his fucking dog tag there.
Oh, I do?
Yeah, you do.
No, I don't. That's not a beer opener.
It looks like an opener to me, man.
It ain't an opener. Listen to Matt.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Here. He's like, I don't give a shit. Oh, thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Yeah. It's a little late in Matt Finn world, probably.
Either that's half a fucking heart on your dog tag, or that's a fucking bottle opener.
Oh, I like that.
Do you?
Ooh, wait a minute.
I know, it like changes.
Boom.
There's like
it's almost like a blue moon.
5 different flavors in this thing.
There's a little bit sweet, but then it's got that fucking, like, I don't want to say soapy, but I mean that like super duper hops.
Yeah,
they come off.
It's got a citrus finish.
Yeah.
So.
It's almost kind of detergent-y, but not in.
That's real man shit right there.
But in a plant-ish kind of way.
I was looking at this, and I don't think I've told everybody this MDR Jam thing that we're doing April 23rd at Rascals. I haven't said anything. We have a private page with all the members that are in the MDR Jam, and I haven't said shit lately because I've been so busy with doing my renovation to the house and I had other irons in the fire. But now I'm ready to focus on it again. But this is going to be such a good time. I mean, the people that are coming, there's going to be a lot of people there, which is awesome. I hope the bands find it fun and don't find it tedious. Like I said, it's supposed to be about fun. I don't care if you blow the songs and have to stop in the middle. We're all there drinking together. We're musicians. We get it. You know what I mean? It's not about all the bands at all.
My band doesn't have songs yet.
I know. I've talked to your drummer, and he's like, I haven't even heard from Travis. I don't know. But
just like high school, I don't have my homework done yet. I haven't even started. I haven't even thought about it.
I think I decided that I wasn't going to be the leader of my band. So really, I'm just sort of waiting and watching to see who becomes panic-stricken first.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably be panic-stricken the whole night.
Yeah.
But let's see here. I was trying to figure this out here. Okay, I got this. My band that I'm playing in is well, first of all, I wanted to tell you guys what band names came up because I asked all these local musicians that put together their little groups or whatever, name your band so we can put it on the back of a shirt, which, by the way, should be done pretty soon. The shirt should be done by Nar City, which is one of our sponsors.
Right.
Anyway, and thanks West Music, too, because they're our main sponsor of this thing. And all the guitar players and bass players in this thing are getting their guitar set up for free by Tony Carducci at West
cool.
Music. So that's really fucking cool.
Which I have not taken advantage of that yet. I'm gonna make him refret my Les Paul.
That's not. I don't think that's it. I think it's a set of strings and shut up,
dude. He said it was gonna play great.
But here, let's see
frets.
Here. What time is it in Colorado?
It would be 1 hour earlier.
Okay, cool. So he wouldn't be pissed if I called right now.
No, he might be pissed. But
all right. Well, anyway,
because time.
Let me tell you some of these band names. Okay. One band, and I'm not going to say who's in them, but I'll just give you some of the names that these buttholes come up with. Okay. I got to put this on the back of a shirt and hopefully go on 97X and talk about it and maybe put it in the paper. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, check out these band names. Devastation Wagon, which
I'm
is
sore about.
Why?
Because my landlord Joe Euchner told me that name, which was a name of a band in Iowa City that he really dug. I brought that name to Music Go Round and told it to Chris Ermy. He fucking laughed his face off and told everybody. And now that name, I was gonna pick that name for this MDR jam, and then I saw it on the fucking page and was like, God damn it!
Well, get the fuck over it,
God
Travis.
fucking damn it!
They have shirts. I mean, they have a logo and everything. They have the Devastation Wagon drawn up.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah,
of
it's
course
awesome.
they've fucking gone off the rails, totally fucking building this whole brand up.
Just the tip. I don't know what they mean by that.
That means that they're not going to pay for the main part of dinner.
But they're just going to leave a tip.
Just the tip.
Just a tip.
That's right.
Miners Misfits, which I kind of like because my name's in it, right? Bobby Tequila and the Chasers, and there's nobody named Bobby. Oh, Bobby Thornton's in that
Okay,
one.
all right.
So Bobby Tequila and the Chasers, one I'm in with John Nelson, Nick Abbott, and Doug Barry. I'm going to call Nick Abbott in a second.
Cool.
Which is, you know who Nick Abbott is? Wrecking Machine, back in the old Clipper days.
Yeah.
Motherfucking shred guitar player.
Yeah, he was good.
I haven't seen him forever though.
Great guitar player.
He doesn't live around
No,
here,
he lives in Colorado now, so that's why I was asking what time it is there. But what they named our band was Sticky Socks, which I don't understand at all. I don't understand why.
I don't know what that means. I've got a lot of them, but I don't know why that would be a band name, a viable band name.
Like sticky tissues, or happy tissues, or sad tissues.
Some of them are turning green.
And there's one with, and I have to say who the singer is. This Doneen St. John, who's obviously a female singer. She's in Flashpoint. She's the singer for it, so they named it Crucial Taunt. And I didn't get that until somebody informed me of what that is.
The band from Wayne's World.
Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So that was kind of creative.
Chris Cushman, I think, came up with that one.
Yeah, and Wes Weber, you're an asshole. Kate's Bush.
Yes, dude.
Kate's Bush.
Kate's Bush.
Yeah, and then of course Matt Truitt wouldn't come up with anything less than Holy Ordained Lords of Ecstasy.
Yes. HOLE.
Right.
Gotta have a fucking acronym.
Another one is 3 songs long, like 3 Years Hollow, but 3 songs long.
3 songs long.
Broga Pants, of course, is returning, so
That's
we all
right.
know that.
That's right.
And then Vanderveer, which is a Rock Academy band.
The Youngins.
Yeah, Youngins. I mean, they're cool kids. They're out there trying to get it.
Love it.
So anyway, these guys, some of the names that I got, first of all, I had to tell them, like, look, stop it. Hey, can we be like the Dirty Dicks and the Pussies?
Yeah, right.
It's like, no, stop it.
Damn it. I see it. I ended up coming up with, I thought, a really great name for our band, but it just wasn't going to fly. Vaginormous. Which I thought was really fucking good.
Which looks great on the back of a shirt.
It's amazing. But
Yeah.
Doneen was kind of like, no.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Doneen's your singer.
That's probably not going to work for me. How does that reflect on the chick singer in the band? And I was like, amazingly.
But you have an enormous vagina.
I said, amazingly.
Yeah.
She said, why did you say it twice?
I'm drunk calling Nick Abbott right now in Colorado. Let's see what happens here. He's a bad motherfucker.
Hello?
Hey, Nick, this is Brian with MDR. You're live, man. What's up?
Hey, Brian, how you guys doing?
We're hanging out, man. What are you doing up there? I heard you had a blizzard going on.
Oh, yes. We have many highways shut down. So
Wow.
it's a typical
Colorado day out here where it's 70 degrees yesterday, which it was, and
Same here.
full blizzard today.
Wow, we had like 60 something yesterday, and tomorrow it's supposed to snow. So
I had a
Same here.
I had a blizzard. It was Oreo blizzard. It was delicious.
but no, man, we're hanging out. We're hanging out doing episode. We're hanging out doing episode 55, I think, and I'm 43 years old today, man.
Oh, congratulations!
Hey,
man.
thanks, man. I'm 43,
How
and
the 40s going?
you know what? It's been shitty ever since.
How the 40s going? Well, the fucking Japanese bombed the shit out of us.
Right, 1943 was a bad year, wasn't it? Yeah.
Agreed.
So yeah, I'm old as fuck. But hey, we were talking. I got Travis here, of course, and I've got Jeff Hazen.
Hey, boss, how you doing?
What's happening, man?
And I got Jeff Hazen from my band Dive Bomb.
Hey, cool.
Yeah, he's here too. He's a guitar player.
Right on.
I was just asking him, you know, Nick. He's like, man, Nick goes way back. I said, Nick's a bad motherfucker at the guitar.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk to you because this is a good time to talk to you about what the fuck we're going to do in our all-star band. Because you're the guitar.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah, you're the guitar player in my band, so we should probably discuss this.
Indeed.
Now is now the right time.
3 songs now.
Yeah.
Now is the right time. We're all snowed in. We're going nowhere.
Well,
Exactly.
now's a good time to practice Pull Me Under. Right?
Right.
No, we're not doing that
Right
one.
on.
But no, listen, here's how this went down. Travis and I tried to stay out of this all-star jam at all costs. But,
Gotcha.
but at one point, when I tried to get John Nelson in the band, he said the only way he'll do it is if I'm the singer of his band. I'm like, why me? Yeah, you've heard me sing, right, John?
Yeah.
So
Right.
anyway,
That's a good thing.
so I, once I got in it, then I was like, well, Travie has to be in it too.
I know, you fucker.
Yeah. So
I almost got out of it.
yeah.
So when you're snowed
Son
in,
of a bitch.
when you're snowed in Colorado, there's nothing really to do except practice guitar between orgasms. That's the only
That's actually it.
The
Yeah,
only fucking
exactly right.
You bust a nut and then
You learn to be
Yeah.
ambidextrous. for sure.
Right. Well, we all know you only need 3 fingers for that anyway.
Ah,
so
shit.
just like
Damn right.
just like an AC/DC riff. So,
That's right.
but anyway, man, what's been going on? What the hell took you to Colorado, man? You used to be, you played in Wrecking Machine and Eye for an Eye
good Lord.
with John Nelson way back in the day.
Well, wasn't he in Child's Play too?
I don't know. Let him.
Okay, so I want to address that. No, actually, I was not.
You were not in Child's Play.
And no, I never was. I've seen him, and I was a huge fan of him too. We used to play the Tri-Lighter. If anybody remembers the
I do.
Tri-Lighter.
I remember the Tri-Lighter.
I played before Wrecking Machine. I actually played in a different version of Crazy Ace initially. So I played with Mike DePaul, and Tim Sharp was on bass.
Wow.
Bill
Tim
Zug
Sharp
was on drums. Yes.
Who was on
Who was on drums? I'm sorry.
Singer,
Who was it? Who was the drummer? I'm sorry.
his name is Bill Zug, and it's a very little known name. He actually lives in Florida now.
Okay, I've heard the name.
Okay, and then Glenn Schaffman was lead vocals at that time. He actually used to run. It was on the Strip up there, right across from Stickman's. It was called. He called it Pandemonium. So he ran the bar. It was a very, very short run deal.
Yeah, Pandemonium.
So he owned it, and we played there pretty much as the house band for all intents and purposes. But so we basically broke apart from Mike and kind of did our own thing a little bit, and then we just kind of called it. So that's pre-Wrecking Machine for the most part.
Well, what I remember, Nick,
Yeah.
when I first met you, of course, was the guitar contest
Yeah, me
era.
too.
Oh, yeah.
Me too.
And
Nerve-wracking fucking disaster.
It was.
Yeah.
Ugh. Ruined
I
my
remember.
young 20s.
I remember that was when In Living Color was popular, and I remember telling my best friend at the time, Jerry Freeze. He said, "How did it feel, man?" And he said, and I said, "Man, my mouth went completely dry." I mean, you're talking about a guitar player by yourself, on the stage at the Call Ballroom in front
with
of a
no
packed
security with anybody else around you.
right, and it's a packed
No
house,
backing tracks or anything.
and you're playing through whatever PV amp was they were trying
PV VTM 120 with all the fucking dip switches wrong.
We'd all be sneaking into Griggs
And I said,
to figure out how to fucking work those little knobs,
Right.
the little buttons.
See, I never did that. I should have thought of that.
Yeah, it's the little fucking 8-banger
You know
dip
what?
switch.
You know what
man.
I brought my first year, and then I'll finish why I brought up In Living Color.
All right.
But I brought that Schultz Rockman half rack thing that sounded like dick.
Yeah. The distortion generator or the sustainer?
I can't remember.
Okay.
Whatever it was fucking horrible, and I should have just played through the PV because it didn't sound like it did through my amp. You know. But anyway, I got off stage and my best friend Jerry Freeze asked me. He goes, "So how was that?" I was like, "Dude, I was scared out of my mind." He said, "You looked great, man. You didn't look scared at all." I said, "I was so scared." I said, and I did this. I said,
Poker-faced it.
my lips were sticking to my gums, man. I was like, "Let me tell you something." You know, I was doing that because that's what I was like.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't move my lips.
Yeah.
I just remember there was no spit in my mouth. It was like smoking a huge joint with Cheech and Chong. I couldn't there was no spit, you know.
Except you didn't get to be high, which is
right.
really...
It's just
So to capitalize on that, and this, everybody had this because we went up there with dry mouth, but our palms sweat.
Oh
yeah.
my God, it was horrible.
I mean, I couldn't even
a
keep
direct
up.
transfer.
The neck was like sticky after I was done. I'm like, that's gross. I need to just get rid of this thing.
Yeah.
And your guitar was impossible to tune that night for some reason.
Right,
There's
exactly.
like no way you could tune your guitar at all.
Strike a chord and it's done. Those lights were extra hot or something.
Yeah,
man.
and for some reason, the whole 4-minute thing I had worked out to fit into the guidelines of what you were supposed to do.
Way too short.
I played in
Right.
2.5 minutes.
Exactly. Way too short.
Yeah, that's like plans, man. You get up there and you freeze, and I'm like, okay, what do I know? What do I know? What do I know?
Yeah. But
Go
all
to
the
the safe spot.
Yeah, but all the other guitar players that were in the wings waiting to play and stuff, they could tell when they were seeing somebody that stood out, right?
Yeah.
And Nick was definitely one of them guys who's like, "Oh, I'm fucked." You know what I mean? It's
Yep.
over.
No,
Oh,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
no.
Dude, you fucking
that
killed
was
it.
me looking at fucking Tony Vogel and Dan Heyer, and
Yeah.
by the way, Scott Whitehall. I pretty much threw my guitar away after that. I said,
Yeah.
fuck,
Yeah.
I give up.
Yeah.
And you know that trend hasn't changed around here, Nick. I'm telling you right now, there's guitar players that we didn't even know existed back then that are smoking all of our pussy asses.
Oh, all
Craig,
I got to do is look up on YouTube, and I'm depressed.
Yeah,
Yeah, Craig. Well, around here, Craig Bentley, Nate Nicholson. There's this young cat, Colin Keemley. The fucking. I mean, when we were young, we thought we were cool and shit. But I mean, they're smoking our ass.
We did the Clipper tour. What better thing is there?
You're right.
Well, we thought we were cool because we could play the solo and talk dirty to me and shit, or some Queensryche song. But anyway, you were always in a band, Nick. That when I came into the scene, I was probably 16 when I first. I don't know how old you are. I'm 43 today, but. You
48, my friend.
Okay, well, you were 5 years ahead of me. So when I was coming into the whole bar scene all together, when I was in a band called Smash Alley.
Yep, I remember them.
Yeah, so I would go into the Clipper and I would see you guys, and you guys were always like, John would have his fucking Zildjian shirt on.
Now, is this Wrecking Crew you're talking about?
This is Eye for an Eye or Wrecking Machine. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but
Wrecking Crew, Wrecking Machine. I don't fucking know.
If it was at the Clipper, it was probably still Eye for an Eye. We didn't do a whole lot of gigs there with Wrecking Machine.
But I got to be honest with you, Nick. And I know you had Brandon on guitar with you
Brandon
at the time.
Daly.
Yeah. If I was daydreaming about Brandon breaking his legs on accident, like maybe a skiing accident,
Total accident.
you know what I mean? Total accident. And then and then you guys would be like, the only guy for the job is Brian Miner. He needs to grow his hair out, but Brian Miner's a bad motherfucker. And you and I would have rode off into the sunset together, Nick, because we would have wrote like cacophony songs.
I like the analogy. I like the montage.
Yeah, but no, I remember seeing that band, and I just remember you guys were being as professional as you possibly could. You were writing originals, which was completely in left field around here.
Now, did they record?
We're trying to carry the flag, which, as you already know, is quite the the task back then.
Yeah, it's a hard road to go down. But
did you record an album?
A tape.
We did a 5-song demo tape. We did a tape cassette.
Wow.
And we had a bunch of originals.
Who was the singer? Who was the singer?
On the tape it was Doug.
Doug Barry?
Who's he's in a country band called Cody Road.
He's playing bass, right?
Yep.
And I want to say this.
Absolutely.
I want to say this guy lives. I got a couple stories. I think he lives like a couple blocks from me. But I remember, I think at one point your singer and Wrecking Machine told me this story, and and I remember me and my friend talking about it for at least a month afterwards, going, "Bullshit! There's no way you could do it." He told me He said when you guys were in the studio, his voice was so fucking powerful that the microphone that they put in front of him, he blew the diaphragm in it.
He actually, that is accurate.
Oh, come on, man. Come on.
No, okay.
It's because they didn't use a fucking pop filter.
What was it made of? A tampon?
Not because he and I are buds. Not because he and I are buds, but I can actually confirm that because one of the things that so he wasn't a trained singer. I mean, by any means. Okay. So he goes in and he sings balls out. I mean, he's projecting fucking fiercely. And the first thing that happens is the first thing he does is he distorts it completely, where they have to back this thing off. He's got to stand back in the booth even further. And the more he belted out, I mean, the more times he actually redid the takes, the more he just started belting it out harder, and was like, Jesus Christ, man! And he blew his voice out doing that live too, because as he learned to sing better, it curved a little bit, and some of the high notes.
So how many microphones did he blow? One.
No, I would say at least one. I don't know if it was two.
Nothing against Doug. I'm technically trying to think about the possibilities of this because I don't give a fuck.
Sure.
You could put Marshall Stack in front of this SM7 that I'm talking into right now, and it's not going to blow the diaphragm in it. You see what I'm saying?
It could have been a faulty mic. I don't know.
There you go. But hey, if that happened to me, I'd say the same shit. I'd be like, I blew that fucking mic.
Exactly. It's kind of like, dude, that's like getting your fucking
right.
It's like getting broken ribs at a Slayer show. It's somehow, even though it's a terrible thing, it's like a badge of honor. You know what I mean? Like you tout that shit.
I'll go with it, Nick, man. And I know that the dude could.
That's cool.
I knew he could scream.
He can scream.
Yeah, he was a good singer. But I remember technically, guys that know gear,
right,
are good because Travis has been staring at me the whole time.
I'm looking. I've got a raised eyebrow and a fucking smirk on my face. I'm like, there's no way a human man is going to generate enough fucking SPL.
And what it would take. Yeah. You're like Mythbusters. I see what you're
right. Yeah.
I accept your engineering challenge.
Yeah. So man, I'm really looking forward to trying to sing these songs that we're doing for the MDR Jam. And I cannot fucking believe you're coming from Colorado down here. I know you probably have something more important to do, but you're doing this on the side. But you're coming from Colorado. That gives me hella clout.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge, man.
Yeah, and you're gonna get to play with John again and Doug.
Oh, this is gonna be huge. Plus, I'll get to see. I was there in October to go visit my family and stuff. They live in Dixon, Illinois. There, so I cruised through there and I saw John and Tim and we had a few drinks at was it Bent River?
Daisy Dukes
across the river. What's that?
Daisy Dukes.
No, it's Bent River Brewery. Okay. Daisy Dukes.
He doesn't live around here.
That's the local titty bar. So
yeah.
I
didn't fall into your trap.
I was going to say, you're a smart man.
It's hard to forget that shower stage down there at Bent River.
That place is still there? What? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right on. But I didn't get a chance to visit with anybody at that time around. So I'm really excited to actually see a lot of musicians I haven't seen in 15, 20 years now. So
well, I'm hoping dudes like Tim Sharp come out. I mean, even though here's the problem, Nick. What I've found is there's only a certain amount of musicians around here that get into the jam, and it's usually the ones that respond the quickest. And then there's dudes that don't get in it, and I think what they do is they kind of resent MDR. Then I didn't get picked to be in this fucking jam. And dudes like Tim Sharp, I don't have to even think about asking people. Really, it comes to me. Yeah. So it fills up pretty quick, and then I'm like, shit. There's a whole bunch of people that I mean, this area. I'm telling you, Nick. I don't know what it's like in Colorado, but this area is fucking
ass.
Oh, this area is saturated with fucking talent.
Oh, that's great.
It's amazing.
That's a great problem to have.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, you think you're good, and it's like, oh, I'm not the big fish in the small pond. There's fish in this pond that could be the big fish in the bigger ponds.
Oh yeah.
Right. It's just they're here. It's really fucking weird. But a lot of great drummers, good guitar players, not a whole lot of singers. Which that's
what I heard you mention.
Yeah.
I heard you mention that.
There's not a shit.
And not to rip on the singers that are around here. There are some good ones, but you don't have like a whole catalog of God. There's fucking 10 stellar vocalists around here. Of course, I'm one of the top 5, but I'll edit that out. It's my fucking birthday, man. It's my fucking birthday. I can say shit like that.
That's right,
props, motherfucker.
Yeah. Come on. Anyway,
right on.
But man, I'm really looking forward to doing this jam. And you and I and John and Doug are not going to have any rehearsal. This is going to be dry, fucking just going up on stage and rocking out some
Straight
shit.
up hard balls.
Got it.
Yeah.
Old school style, just like the Clipper days, man. Get
Absolutely.
up and jam for the 2 beers.
Absolutely, man. And I'm hoping I do you guys proud. I'm more excited
Well, me too. Shit.
I'm more excited about watching you and John and Doug jam together. I'm just kind of like the filler guy that glues it together. And don't worry about me. Just you do what you do, Nick, and I'm sure that everybody's going to shit their pants.
It's gonna be freaking exciting, man. I can't wait to get off with the crowd, man. It's gonna be a great time.
Yeah, man. Well, you better get out there and shovel some walks, man.
I'm gonna wait till it's done. I don't waste my time.
So it's blizzarding there. So everybody in the Quad Cities be happy with what we have right now.
Yeah.
You could be in Colorado.
Yeah,
you could be high as fuck.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
You
say.
could be high as giraffe pussy there.
Then you don't care if it's snowing.
But you have to shovel snow.
Yeah. So yeah, bring back like I'm gonna say I don't know like a quarter pound of
just so
medical.
You know, it's
you know?
still federally illegal, so you can't cross state lines.
That's
because of the red.
right.
And they're waiting there. Believe it.
Yeah,
Really?
they are. Yeah,
So
they
if you
are.
can get
I
me,
watched the FBI take down a few people.
but if you could get me at least like 4 gummy bears in your butthole,
Notice he didn't say in a baggie in your butthole.
like I'll forgive the shit
Right
flavor of
on.
them. But I just want to see what that does.
I've
You know
been
what I mean?
telling them it's my sleep medication, guys.
Anyway, man.
Geritol. I don't know what to tell you.
Dude, much respect to you, Nick. You're a great guitar player. It's great hearing from you.
Hey,
and
thank you.
and you're an avid MDR listener too, so that's to boot. So I appreciate
Booyah.
that. Yeah, hell yeah, man. So we'll see you on the 23rd, and I can't wait to do this shit.
Rock solid,
All right,
bro.
brother. You guys
See you,
have a
Nick.
good night.
All right, man. Be
Nice.
safe. We'll see you.
All right.
All right,
Goodbye.
bye-bye. Fuck, I love that shit.
Yeah, dude, that was awesome.
This whole call-in thing is working out pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what we're
Brian's like,
radio.
we should do this every time.
You want me to call Bruce Kulick?
You get his number?
No, I do, but I mean, I'm not calling him right now. I'm like,
Cat,
"Hey, dude,
so the
what's
cat's
up?"
out of the bag on that one.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We're doing Bruce Kulick. Hopefully, I mean, listen, this is how it went down. I'm just being honest. And if Bruce happens to peek in on this, I'm a huge Kiss fan, and the whole catch on this whole thing has been I've been trying to kind of pussy step around this whole Kiss issue because
Kiss you?
this Kiss you. Because that's now Gene's gonna sue me because I said Kiss you. He's like,
Right.
dude, I trademarked that.
Trademark.
Give him
Yeah.
$1,000. Send him $1,000. He'd be good.
I think people understand what I'm saying. The guy was in Kiss, okay? I know that he's done a lot of other work with other bands in Union. He's what he's doing now.
He's playing for Grand Funk, isn't
Right,
he?
he's in Grand Funk
Which,
Railroad.
dude,
But,
that was a
absolutely,
killer fucking band,
absolutely,
man.
But come on,
My face.
For me, unfortunately, I mean that's all great stuff. But for me as a Kiss fan, and for me buying the records that Bruce Kulick was on the record, he's in Kiss,
Right.
he's part of Kiss, he's Kiss to me. That's going to be what I want to talk about a lot. And I think that when I kind of emailed back and forth with him, I was really kind of honest about that. Like, hey, this subject's going to be, and my listeners aren't, they're going to want to hear about maybe what it was like to be in Kiss more than, and I don't want drama or anything. I just want to know, like, something, a question I might ask him would be like, okay, for the Kiss fans that know, like the Animalized tour, when they were on MTV concerts or whatever, and they played the complete without makeup Animalized tour thing on MTV. It was a big show. He was brand new to the band, basically, and I would want to know the kind of itinerary of the day and how he felt going into that, knowing that I'm going to introduce myself to the audience in Kiss. And this is going to be their first time to actually really watch me play live if they haven't seen me play live with Kiss yet.
Sure.
And things like that. Just like, how did you feel? Were they supportive of you
Right.
beforehand? Were you by yourself? Was it?
Yeah,
Was
maybe
it,
he was prepared.
Right.
Like we don't know. At least I don't know about his history before Kiss and what his history with playing live and all of that stuff was.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions I'd love to ask him like that, or like when you're doing the video and you had the Charvel Model 6 that you went into the fucking water and Tears Are Falling and you fell into water. Where'd that guitar go? Did you dry it out and keep it, or did you just throw it away? You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
There's all
This
kinds
one's
of shit.
waterlogged.
Yeah, there's all
Right.
kinds of shit like that.
He's probably
that
gonna be
I'd
like,
wanna ask him.
you're
I don't remember that
way
shit.
too into this, dude. It's kind of like fucking William Shatner at the fucking convention where he's like, have any of you ever even kissed a girl?
Yeah.
But see, get a life.
But see, here's my point, though. This whole fucking Minor Disturbance Radio thing, it's not about what's your latest thing coming out. Let's talk about the things that are just so vanilla that nobody cares. Because I've heard a lot of interviews like that. I'm like, I want to know Bruce. I want to know how he felt going from Bruce Kulick to Bruce Kulick. And that's the transition that happened. I know he was doing stuff before Kiss, but it wasn't Kiss.
That is basically the main kind of like cry in society right now for the media of any kind, whether it's a podcast or a fucking national or a fucking political press conference. They want to see the raw fucking nerve, man. They don't.
And I hope he gets that. I hope he gets that.
They don't want to have this whole, I'm going to stand up here and answer a bunch of questions that I told you to ask me ahead of time because I've got preordained, pre-fucking figured out responses.
And on top of that, I want to tell him my perspective of it. As a Kiss fan, and how much I thought that he did a great job.
People are more than ever craving that connection, man.
He got thrown from the first cog to the top cog immediately, right? And we've all read The Dirt, and we know Nikki Sixx talks about you go up a cog in the machine and the gears, and you move up, and then you get to the top of the machine, and then it's different there. Down here in these lower cogs is what we talk about. That's our life. We're like, we did a record.
We're all like-minded, and that's what everybody watching MDR is going to want to hear.
That's right. Yeah. Anybody that's picked up a guitar or a set of played a set of drums or sang or anything has had that image in their head of where they want to go, and it's not 6 Nights at the Clipper.
That's right.
Right.
But you do 6 Nights at the Clipper because you think it's part of your...
Absolutely.
Which it may or may not be, as it turns out.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that's where I am in podcast land because there's so many podcasts out there that I hear that when they talk to these people that are famous, I could talk to people that are famous anytime I want. All I got to do is call their PR and their management and say, hey, they can spread their word to my audience about their CD.
But when you go through that channel, then you're back in fucking, press release land where you're not really interfacing with these people as people. Now you're interfacing with them as a business entity, as an artist.
And if I start talking to people that are famous or whatever like that, please forgive me for being redundant because I will ask them similar questions. And that is if I could talk to Paul Stanley, one of my main questions would probably be, what was it like to be Paul Stanley that had $25 in their pocket and was wondering what his future held?
Yeah.
And being the Paul Stanley that was in the biggest band in the world that had millions of dollars in the bank. And are you the same person then? What changed in that gap? And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I of course, what we really want to know, I think we can surmise that the answer is no. And that was the whole point of getting the $1 million in that way. But why? Why no? And what was the difference? Was it the difference you thought that it would be?
Can you still connect with the taxi driver that was just getting by?
Absolutely.
Can you still connect with that and go, oh yeah, I'm lucky to be here? I think that's what it is,
Okay, yeah.
And part of it is too, we want to kind of be told that it's really not all you think it is up here.
Right. But maybe some of it is that way, and maybe the thing is that just like we might want to disconnect ourselves from our own past in order to be able to deal with try to avoid the pain of embracing who we have been and what our previous desires were and how we were fucking, living with illusions. Maybe the same thing is true for the fucking rock star, that he gets to that place, or she gets to that place that's the fucking, the safety zone, and now any suggestion of the connection between you and who you used to be is like a slap in the fucking face. No, I'm not that dude that fucking, made had $25 in his pocket. Hell no.
Yeah, I think that happens. I think that might happen. And, for us that never really got onto that level, I'm getting drunk. I'm sorry.
You had one beer.
I had some whiskey first.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It's my birthday, bitches.
Exactly. Brian,
how about the guys that go back? The guys that are,
that come back down?
Yeah,
I've seen so many of them. I've seen so many of them, man.
Selling his Les Pauls and losing at the gambling tables. And
I don't know about that, but
he's kind of... I don't think he's ever been.
I know that in his book he talked about how he yard sailed his Kiss outfits.
Yeah,
him and his girlfriend at the time, whatever, they had his boots from, I think it was the Dynasty tour or whatever. All of his shit, like $50. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like,
Oh, God.
It's just like, dude.
He had no idea,
No,
man.
hand to fucking mouth,
Yeah,
dude.
but that guy lived hard.
Needle to vein, exactly.
That guy lived hard. I mean, one thing I can say is Gene and Paul kind of understood that, hey, if we go down the same road as most rock stars, this is a very short-lived life.
Exactly.
In that business, and it's going to be a hard crawl back down the ladder.
Yeah.
And they stayed on the top. People like Ace and Peter were like, this is it, I could do this forever, and they overdid things, and they realized that, hey, I don't have to go to work anymore, and Kiss is work. I have to think about this for a second. You're in Kiss, you're hired, boom, you replace whatever member. Now you've got to go when you wake up in the morning from the hotel room, you've got to do a couple radio interviews for different stations of the tour, the dates coming up, okay? And then you get wherever you go, you're doing some sort of video thing to promote your band. So now you got to put on all your makeup, which takes about 2-3 hours to do, to put your makeup on right. And then you got to do your you got to stand there, do the interview in your costume, and then you got a show later on that night. So you got to decide, do I want to keep the makeup on all fucking day, or do I take it off and then go maybe shopping and come back and then put it on again? So they're putting on the makeup maybe twice a day.
Yeah.
Okay. And when they're on these big tours, sometimes 3 times a day is what they said. And we're talking about perfection.
Full on fucking, has
and
to
it's
be
not
perfect,
easy to do. If you ever have a chance, go on YouTube. Gene Simmons puts his makeup on the way he did it on his daughter, Sophia, or Sophie, and he shows exactly how he did his makeup. And it takes a while. It's art.
Yeah.
It's fucking art.
Yeah.
You might see some shows from a tour where they did, maybe 400 shows, and sometimes the star is a little crooked.
Yeah, right.
Or Ace has just kind of drew a circle and said, fuck it.
Yeah.
But, most of the time, though, it's tight, and it takes a while. I mean, think about that for a second.
Right.
Now you've got to worry about every day.
Yes.
You've got to put that makeup on and be that character a couple times a day. That's a job.
Fuck yes, it's a job.
It's a job.
It is a job.
I would have fucked it all up. When I would, if like all of a sudden, I got in a big band and everything, and I can fuck up anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I wouldn't be that guy that ends up successful in 70 and I've got millions of dollars and
Yeah. And I don't think
no bullshit.
I
I'd fuck everything up.
I probably would too. And I think it's for the reason that if I were paying myself to do it, I might be a little more enthusiastic about it. However, if I was being paid to do it, if I was enriching somebody else's empire, essentially doing it, man, that would be tedious.
Yeah.
I would not think to myself, millions of dollars, ha 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 ha. I would not fucking think that shit. I'd be like, God damn it, they're making me fucking do this shit.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
They're making me fucking do this shit. I don't want
Ace and Peter realized that, hey, man, I'm hanging around I'm doing whatever I want to do when I want to do it. And now I've got to go on a tour again or record a record and go on tour.
Yeah.
I got to be at the studio at whatever o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I have bosses.
And do this now. And there's some sort of format to my life. And that's now what you call your job.
Yeah.
And fuck, I don't need to work anymore. I've got $18 million in the bank.
You got those guys, and then you got the other guys who are like, I think I'm supposed to be somewhere tomorrow, but I don't care. I got money and I got time, and I'm gonna be out till 5 in the morning in the clubs,
I haven't finished this beer and
and
I got
whatever
this,
else.
and
she's here, and
over
she's
my
here.
dead body. I'm not going.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I'm in my bedroom practicing every Kiss
Yep,
song just
yep.
in case.
Yeah, exactly.
So that I could be the next Vinnie Vincent that's
Vinnie
like,
Vincent.
do
you don't
one.
you don't have the lips. You don't have the lips to be the next Vinnie Vincent.
I'm just saying, I mean, what kid, for me, I've dreamed of, oh my God, I used to literally have dreams of I'm in Kiss. You know? It's
right.
like, fuck, there's something even more powerful about the idea that they're characters. They're not human anymore.
Right.
They're superheroes. Metallica's one thing. Kiss is a whole different thing.
Yeah.
You know
Metallica
what I mean?
was supposed to be anti-heroes.
Right.
You know?
But until they, let's all agree on one thing.
Yeah.
The one video, we were like, how many interviews did we hear Metallica say, we'll never do a video
never do
for
it.
MTV?
Dude, it says right on the fucking package of Cliff 'Em All, it says, hey, we finally went and did what we always talked about not doing. Said it right on the fucking thing,
Which the scene that I remember most about Cliff 'Em All, if people are...
Is it the proper roach smoking technique?
No. There was a point where they pulled up in their little fucking hippie bus or whatever it was. Remember the little bus they had? Did you see Cliff 'Em All? Have you seen Cliff 'Em All?
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time for me too.
They pull up to this convenience store. And Kirk goes in, Lars goes in, Hetfield goes in. They all go in, and they just start grabbing 6-packs and whatever. And you know, I remember Kirk stopping and picking up like Twinkies or whatever,
right.
and then they just bolt out the door. And they get in the bus and leave. Their little not a tour bus, like their little hippie bus.
Yeah.
You know,
been caught
they were
stealing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I always wondered to myself, did they go in pre to that and say, look, they're making a video.
Sure.
They're going to grab this, and this, and pay for it.
Right.
And then have them do it. Because, dude, they'd get arrested for that, right?
You would think that the statute of limitations had not been reached by the time that the fucking Cliff 'em All video
What
was
is the
released.
statute of limitations, by the way?
I think the
7
statute
years.
of limitations is for most crimes is 7 years. If
7?
there is a statute, yeah.
Which, by the way,
Okay.
Anybody watching The People versus OJ?
I've not seen it.
Okay. Oh, my God. My
didn't
favorite,
do it.
My favorite show ever. I love this show because not only does it show, of course, the thing that everybody knows,
Right.
but it shows the aspect of the jury. I mean, think about this: you're picked for this jury, and you've got to stay in a hotel with no TV, no newspapers, no talking to anybody.
You
can
are
see your
sequestered.
You're sequestered for a case that you think, you know, you're like happy at the beginning, like, okay, we get to be, you know, this jury for this big thing,
You
all
get
right?
lunch.
And then 8 months later, infighting, we're in prison. I want out of here.
Yeah.
This is bullshit.
Yeah.
It's going down to the nth degree. And we all know that case took forever. I just love the way that they show every aspect of the case. They show how each lawyer lived, their family life, how it affected them.
Yeah.
All these things. And of course, OJ killed the fuck out of Nicole.
Oh, yeah.
He is a murderer.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm hearing stuff on this show that, you know, it has to be accurate because they can't put it on this show if it's not, right?
One would hope.
You would hope, because if they do, if I find something that's not accurate, I'm going to be done with it.
Yeah, you'll be skeptical of everything they're doing.
But there's some things that I had no idea about that I'm hearing on this show.
The shit that was suppressed,
right?
You know?
And
I mean,
you know,
stuff
it's a great show to watch. Anyway, that's something that I'm fascinated with. I've been fascinated with the OJ case for, you know, I rediscovered it recently about a year ago, and I watched the live. Because it was on TV, guys. It was fucking. They canceled soap operas.
Yeah.
They started cutting everything out during the day. Every channel was the fucking OJ case.
Absolutely, man. It was
this
huge.
was huge for TV. It was reality TV in its finest form.
Yeah.
So, but I was at the age where I was like, I didn't care. I was playing guitar. I was doing other things. I didn't pay attention to it until the verdict was read.
Right, and that's when everybody fucking dropped their shit to find out who shot JR.
Right.
And and to find out what happened to fucking Hawkeye at the end of MASH.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's basically the same fucking thing, man.
And Kim would have had a flat butt if none of this.
Yeah, that's right, dude. She would have fucking.
But I heard Dwyer Michaels talking about this movie, and
so they've
got Cuban Gooding Jr. playing OJ. Okay, that's
Cuba Gooding.
Yeah, but to me,
who is a small man compared to OJ Simpson.
But the more you watch it, the more you see how he's acting like OJ.
Because Cuba is a fucking brilliant actor. He is.
But he doesn't look like OJ.
He doesn't have to. He can just act like OJ and it'll be convincing.
But you know who Kardashian is?
Let me think about that.
Think about Friends.
It's one of the cast members of Friends?
Not Ross.
Ross.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? He's fucking
Kardashian.
Robert Kardashian.
Yeah. Anyway.
Is that his name? Robert?
Yeah.
Robert Kardashian?
Anyway, the casting on this, they were making fun of it on Dwyer Michaels, and bless them, thanks Dwyer Michaels, because fucking whatever. But they were ripping on it and saying, I can't watch it anymore because it seems like every episode they bring in the Kardashian kids.
Yeah.
Somehow when they're kids.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't give a shit because it's moved past that. That was one angle that they showed about the Kardashian family.
Yeah.
You know, and Robert died, of course, after the case.
Yeah,
and then
he did.
She remarried.
And did he have cancer? Is that what?
Yeah, I think it was cancer,
yeah.
but we haven't got to that yet. But
okay.
yeah, he died after the case. But this whole time, like the last 3 episodes, he's on the defense.
Right.
And everything that's coming out evidence-wise, he's best friends with OJ. Best friends with OJ.
Yeah.
And everything is coming out, and they're showing him going back to his house, and his wife is like, OJ killed Nicole because they were friends.
Yeah, right.
Nicole and her were friends.
Absolutely, yeah.
And she's like, he killed her.
How the fuck
How could you defend him? And he's like, lately it's been like, I'm sorry. As soon as this is over, he's out of our life. But I can't quit the case because then I convict him.
Yeah.
Because I'm his best friend. I can't he's guilty, I'm out.
Right.
You can't have one of your key lawyers quit the case and say he's guilty, I'm out.
Right, which is part of the trouble I think that everybody has with lawyers in general is that they don't necessarily deploy the courage of their convictions. It's just a choice they can make.
And the dirty shit they do to try to get people off when they know that this person is guilty.
Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely, man.
It is such a rude awakening to see how the judicial system works, and it's just scary.
Well, for me, it's the making of a murderer. I mean, if you watch that shit, I mean, that was just fucking heinously unjust. I mean, the way that the system actually works is, or doesn't, just say.
How about if you got time, watch the West Memphis 3?
Yeah, I haven't watched that one yet, but I'm sure if
Is it on Netflix?
actually, yeah.
The West Memphis 3?
I think it is, but
oh boy,
Is it on Netflix?
I'm sure you can find it pretty easily.
I actually had to stop watching The Making of a Murderer because what it was that was happening was so obviously unjust and fucked up. It pissed me off so bad that I just couldn't handle watching it. I had to walk out of the room and do stuff while Sarah was watching it. And then I'd walk back in the room and I'd hear something and then I'd have to fucking point and yell at the television. What the fuck? These people, I can't believe how stupid they are.
There was a scene in The People versus OJ that I played for myself and my wife 3 times in a row, and that was when the prosecution team, when Marsha, the head lawyer, she went to a bar with one of her other friend lawyers, and they were talking amongst each other, and somebody in their little group said he was framed, and the LAPD planted all the evidence. Okay,
Right.
and she said, and she stopped in the bar, and they had some drinks, and when she explained what would have had to happen for the LAPD to frame OJ in that moment, it would have, you're for sure.
Yeah.
You're for fucking sure.
Yeah.
So you're saying, because basically this is what it is. You've got the murder scene and you've got OJ's house. Now, they went to OJ's house pretty quickly to tell her that, tell him that Nicole had been killed because that was his ex-wife. And upon the scene, they realized that they saw his blazer. They happened to look at it. There's blood on the side of it. There's blood inside the Bronco, okay, that they had found. And this is all, and there's also a sock in his bedroom. There's blood in his driveway. There's his blood at the scene, okay? And this was all before they ever got a blood sample from OJ. They had no blood from OJ yet. Okay, and the blood was already there, and everybody's like, "Well, they planted it." Well, how did they plant it? They didn't have his blood yet. It's it's a fact. Even OJ admits they didn't get it until the next day. Right. So they'd have to, whoever this mysterious killer was, erase his blood from the scene and then put OJ's in the place, get a sock from his house, bring it back to the scene, get all that blood mixed in it, get that back into the Bronco, onto the seat, into his bedroom, into his driveway, and then them were some master conspiracy artists right there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's a vast conspiracy.
It was a great scene, and when I watched it, I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah,
it was done. I was done right then.
Now here's, and I, it's always an interesting point though to bring up this fact, which is why, in the name of all that is holy, was she not able to convincingly deliver that argument to the fucking jury?
Because the other side, the defense, was constantly adjusting the jury to be a majority black jury.
They were race fixing it.
Right, and they can relate to the police being bad people.
Absolutely.
And that's what they played, was a race card, and that the police framed OJ.
Well, and if you really if you take this in the broad context of the history of judicial racism, then you begin to realize that this is really the rare time when the black dude gets off for a crime that he did commit. You know what I mean? And it was able to actually because usually the race card historically was played the other way. It had to be Rodney King. But that it was historically it was always played the other way, which was that if the black dude was on trial for it, he had to have done it. And if a white person was suspected, they could not have done it because they're just white people.
Fuck OJ, though.
Yeah, I'm with you. Fuck OJ.
And I'll tell you, fuck OJ because of this reason. Sorry, I just kicked that on somehow by vibration.
All right.
Fuck OJ for this reason.
All right.
You kill your fucking ex-wife You get away with it.
Yep.
And then you go in to steal some of your merch, like, because he lost. Then after
remember
that, he lost a civil suit.
Yeah.
Because in the murder case, it had to be a unanimous fucking vote, and he got off on it. But in a civil suit, it only had to be a majority vote.
Right.
So but they all still voted.
He was culpable. He was culpable in the fucking.
He was responsible for the murders. So that was in a civil suit. Then it's a punitive. Case where they just want money from him for the family.
Exactly.
And so they took all of his things, Heisman Trophy, this and that, and other thing, and they took all that from him. So what does he do? The dumbass he is, instead of just doing some more orange juice commercials or whatever the fuck he wants.
Which he's no
Naked
longer
Gun
really going to be.
He gets
Who's going to hire him?
He gets a posse of goons together and tries to go steal back these things at gunpoint. That's what he went to prison for.
Yeah.
Fuck OJ.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Fuck OJ.
But did you hear about him? He's really not doing good.
No, really?
He's practically, a walking dead man.
Yeah.
Great.
He's got all kinds of health problems.
Well, great running back, by the way. If you were playing fantasy football back when he played, you would have been winning all the time.
And maybe, and maybe, with all of this stuff going on that's coming out with all these brain injuries that are associated with football, what if cerebral contusions and things like this that have happened to his brain that you can't really find out about until after a person dies? What if his crazy rage and all this shit is related to years of fucking drug abuse and painkiller abuse and having his brain constantly beaten up?
I believe that when a football player dies, their brain should be studied and see what kind of damage is there, because it's a known fact that concussions and that causes violent activity. Not blacking out, not knowing what you're doing. But I'm not saying that.
No, but I mean,
OJ planned that shit though. He fucking got in a car, drove. look, man, he didn't just black out. You know what I mean? That shit was nasty. He stabbed the fucking Goldman dude like 20 something times.
Oh yeah,
and he almost cut her head off.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he cut himself when he was cutting her throat. That's what the blood was on his left hand when he was walking away. So
that's the thing that's surprising about it. I mean, is if somebody wants to just kill somebody, you just kill them once. You know what I mean?
What the fuck does this have to do with rock and roll?
No, it has everything to do with rock and roll.
That's what your friend used to say, right?
Because we're all about fucking
have to do with rock and roll.
There's a band called White Bronco, or they named their band after
Ford Bronco.
Ford Bronco. Yeah.
Well, as you were talking about the race card and talking about doing things when you're blacked out, I thought why is it got to be blacked out? Okay, I mean, how is it that blackout is something where you can't remember what you did, but whiteout is where you fix your mistakes? You see?
You're a fucking racist. That's
why. I'm a fucking racist, apparently.
But for the people that were listening an hour ago when we were talking about the
Brian's gonna cut all this shit out, dude.
The Kelly's
this shit ain't making the fucking.
No, it's fine. I don't care what we talk about, man. It's my birthday.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But I wanted to finish one thought was when we played the Kelly's gig, they had amps there already. Okay, so Matt's playing on somebody else's kit. He's playing on somebody else's rig.
He's playing on the VTM 120 with the fucked up dip switches.
It's like an old high school party where everybody just shared whatever. You played on a JCM 2000 Marshall, which sounded great.
Starting off, I was like,
well, whenever an amp sounds really good, though,
it's on the verge of
paranoia.
Blowing
That's
up.
paranoia. In fact, my amps were sounding great at band practice on Tuesday night, and I was like, oh man, these things are about to fucking blow up.
And then the JCM 2000, all of a sudden,
it just
some people went up to a couple got up on stage to propose. This dude wanted to propose, so he was going, can I get up there? And I'm like, okay. And I got him up, and the security immediately wants to get him off the stage. I'm like, no. I don't know what this is, but let him up here for a second. We're going to have fun with this for a second. Yeah. And he goes, I want to propose to my wife. And I'm like, or my girlfriend. Yeah. And he got up there, and he did, and he proposed. They got up there. And
she said yes?
Oh, yeah. And it killed. I know. I said, be careful. I said, be careful.
A happy ending.
But what a beautiful thing. That's happened twice to us, hasn't it? People proposing while we're playing.
I wonder if they ever got married or if they're still together.
They're probably brother and sister. Like,
yeah, right.
How do you think we can get on stage tonight?
I was going to say, your family crests look awfully similar.
But anyway, somehow in that transition, you went to go play again, and there's nothing. So in the background, while I'm trying to do the frontman thing with these two, he's over here going, amp's gone, I have nothing. And so now that's in my head, and I'm like, okay, we have no guitar right now. And so they plugged into what was next to it, the Line 6.
It was a Line 6 combo amp. sitting next to it.
Was
and
it like
was the small? It was.
Was it like a spider or something, or was it?
I don't know, man.
Or was
but
it? Not.
It was like getting out of a Ferrari and getting into a Pinto.
Bummer.
It just wasn't
like,
there.
wow, my dynamic range is completely
And
fucking
the next
gone.
tune was like Unskinny Boss.
Oh.
Sustain was gone.
Actually, that might have worked out okay.
Like, no, you literally couldn't get the amp to feedback. It was like you could bang.
Yeah, it just
Really?
And I tried.
No harmonics.
It's one of those things where you're trying to play and you're like, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I
I need
felt
for this-
so bad
yeah,
for
yeah.
Jeff. I felt so bad for him because it's like all of a sudden my voice went hoarse.
That sucks.
And I had no range above this note right
But
here.
you just do this. You just go.
Yep.
I hope they're pumping it through the main.
And you know what? I gotta tell you, man. I've been in that situation before, and it takes a true fucking performer
Yeah.
to get through that shit.
Yeah.
A lot of dudes would have gave up and just curled up in a shell and went, "Oh, we're fucking done, man.
Whatever.
Cut it off."
No fucking way, dude.
But you played through it, and the crowd didn't notice anything. We did. I could hear it. It was like, instead of like, bow,
The crowd-
wow, wow, it was like, zoom, yow, yow.
And then the Dirt Road Rocker guys are walking up, getting their stuff together. I'm
Oh,
like,
it was horrible. It was horrible.
you should have been here a half hour ago.
exactly.
Yeah, and then of course they're like, "You guys were fucking great," and I'm like, "You didn't hear the Marshall
You've been
2000."
having
a lot of
exactly.
green beers tonight.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, whose Marshall amp was it? Do you
It
know?
was Leo Kelly's.
Oh, it was Leo
And
Kelly's. Oh,
I
shit.
had talked to him, beforehand, and I said,
Right.
"Hey,
Yeah, we still don't know what happened to it.
you're gonna have an amp there," and he's like, "Yeah, cool. You'll be fine with it." And
total-
So I won't bother
Total no output. Like, no output. What
Marshall
happened
was
to the Marshall? The
We're not
Marshall was
sure.
completely dead, though.
Nothing.
Yeah, there was
yeah,
nothing.
there was nothing coming out.
Nothing.
Which,
Yeah.
if a tube amp goes dead like that, it can really be for only a couple of reasons, and none of them are fucking good.
And it's not because the guy was so awesome that
Well,
playing through it.
Well, I think it was a singer.
Certain
I hit
amazing
such a high
singers
note.
have
I hit
been known
such
to
a
blow
high,
out
powerful
fucking-
note that I blew the
Some
tubes in
diode
your amp.
and some.
Take that, Doug.
Well, if there's no output, but you're looking back there and the tubes are lit up, if there's no output, it can be because the high voltage power supply has died, which that usually is your power transformer, and that's fucking expensive.
Here's the music go round coming out in them right now.
The primary of your output transformer has died, which means you got to replace the output transformer, which is extremely fucking expensive. The secondary of your output transformer has died, which means you got to replace the output transformer, which is really fucking expensive. Or your speaker cable died, or something related to the cabinet.
His battery in the
is
pickup
cheaper,
died, probably.
which is cheaper.
No, don't have nothing like that.
I mean, if you turn the amp up and put your head down by the speakers and you don't hear when it's all the way up, I mean, you got fucking problems.
Well, Leo, if you're watching, I hope your amp's okay.
Yeah, I hope your amp's all right, Leo. That is
Yeah.
a real bummer. Hopefully it was the 100 watt and not the 50 watt, because the 50 watts are...
It was the 50 watt.
Damn, those are that much better sounding, too, of those
It was
amps.
great sounding
Those
amp,
are
man.
fucking killer. Honestly, I think that the 50 watt... Was this a DSL that had the 2 channels, or was it a TSL that had the 3
It
channels?
was. I remember him saying it was a DSL 2000.
Yeah, the DSL 2000, the 2-channel version with the 50 watts is the greatest modern amp that Marshall has made. I really think so. It's for straight up like modern tones, that is the best amp they ever
But turned up loud, you could hear the difference between a Marshall and a line set.
made. Oh God, yes.
Like a motherfucker.
Yeah, dude, because your dynamic range goes from this to this.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
like
It was-
your pick attack is
it was
fucking
gross.
gone.
Well,
It was gross.
that was a weird night for me anyway.
Uh-huh.
There
Yeah.
was some, it was a bummer for me. I'm not going to get into personal issues, but it didn't go as planned. And I was like, I'm going to make the best of this night
Right.
anyway. There's a big crowd and I'm here with my brothers.
Hell
And,
yeah.
Hey, you know
guys-
what? On that note, I'm going to take a piss and I'm going to come back and tell a story.
Oh, come on.
Come on, I got to piss like a motherfucker.
Come on my face. Which I slipped one of those my faces in.
Keep talking.
I slipped one of those my faces in when Brian wasn't looking. He was like, "Oh, come on," and I was like, "My face," and he did not respond to it at all. He fucking cheesed out.
Did he get it?
I don't know. I don't think he heard it. I think he's too drunk at this point to care.
Well, the issue of hearing came up.
Issue of hearing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I think I'm
Going
losing. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that I've been trying to mix audio for a while, and I got to say, man, pretty much everything above about 8,000 cycles, in the upper bands, people can hear from about 20 cycles per second. A baby anyway can hear from about 20 cycles per second up through about 20,000 cycles per second.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking I'm not making it much above about maybe 6,500, 7,500 cycles per second. I mean, it's not like it's the extreme trebles, the extreme presence of something. I find myself cranking trebles up. People listen to it and they're like, it's fucking harsh,
Yeah.
So I got to look at meters and shit to tell me what's going on in that area. Because I don't just know, you know what I mean? I can't hear it anymore.
Yeah.
I know there's some stuff in the mid-range that's funny too.
People say things and you're like, and you're like, I hope I heard that right.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I've already asked you 3 times. What'd you say?
No, I never fucked your sister.
Yeah.
You what? No.
What's your sister's name?
Right, exactly. I don't have a sister, man.
Okay.
That's fucked up. But yeah, that's too bad about that amp, though. That is a bummer. That
it was one of those things where you're just like, you're freaking out, and it's like, hey, just gotta.
Well, what's your usual amp?
On.
Your usual amp is the
EVH.
Is the EVH
100
amp,
watt.
which I mean that's a Marshall based circuit.
It's a Fender.
It's a Fender built amplifier, but I know that he took great pains to get it to sound like his Magic Marshall if he could manage it.
Let me tell you, I've played through. That felt so good, man.
Yeah.
It's like a garden hose in there.
And in Edit World, that whole thing that you guys talked about while I was pissing for an hour, it felt like, it will be on like the bonus MDR section.
Right.
But your amp, because I get to play a few songs through his amp and on his guitar. You have what's your guitar? It's a San Dimas
Charvel, San Dimas, and then I got the ESP.
Now, is it an American San Dimas or is it the?
No.
Okay. Well, see, because my brother Hunter just bought like the real slime green fucking San Dimas Jakey Lee fucking guitar, and I got to play it the other night, and I was like, holy balls, man!
Yeah.
This thing is cherry, and your guitar is super tight, man. I mean, the strings are hard to bend. You've got that thing nailed down.
What gauge do you play?
Well, on the white guitar, the Charvel that we do Motley Crue, it's tuned down a whole step.
Okay,
just like Motley Crue. So you hit that G, man. It's
low.
Girls. That's that fucking Motley sound.
Yeah, exactly. I know what you're talking about.
So those are 10s, but the other ones are not. My other guitar are 9s, but I have it so it doesn't float.
Oh,
I hate it floating.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the Eddie Van Halen way.
Got it. I've got it, locked down, so you can only go down.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, but even when I try to take it down, though, it's fucking hard to do. Your tremolo is so hard to put it down.
I mean,
you could try some curls, and you could try some push down.
You motherfucker!
Yeah, I know, dude.
You realize that this is my birthday, right?
He said, "Wow, on your birthday, you're still a pussy."
Are you gonna? But listen,
I got the most faggoty little hands anyway, dude. I mean, I play 8s. Well, you know what I mean? I play the thin shit.
When I was playing your guitar, and it was really kind of scary, Travis, and it's kind of serious, it's like bummed me out. I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
When I got to play like Round and Round and Lay It Down with Dive Bomb, and I was playing on your guitar, there was a point, you know how your fingers just kind of feel fluid and you can do everything you want?
Yep.
Well, there was a point where I was on the G string and I had grabbed the note and tried to bend it a full step.
And you didn't.
To reach the fucking thing, and my finger locked flat like that, and I couldn't move it. And it just locked up, and I was sitting there holding the note, and I couldn't bend it to the pitch. I was still like a little 16th of you know what I mean, off.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't move my fucking finger, and I still tried to. My tendons, something in my hand, fucking at 43. I'm like, oh no, that's never happened to me.
Yeah.
I've always had
control,
Dextile fingers. I could make it through anything, and they never got tired. And my hand must have just. That's enough.
Yep.
That's it, man.
Yep.
And I was like, I was doing that, and then all of a sudden it just locked up, and I tried to bend it, and I couldn't bend it or anything. I was like, I had to move my entire hand like this to try to get vibrato, and I was like, and I remember putting the guitar down and going back to singing, and it wouldn't go off my mind. I was like, my fucking fingers, my tendons, my shit's locking up now.
Well, you got a job kind of like mine. I mean, we're all day long, we're like doing this kind of shit.
We use our hands a lot, yeah.
So, maybe you're not playing enough.
And that I think that's what it is,
Yeah.
Jeff, because when I pick up my guitar when I haven't played it in about 2 months, and I pick it up and I try to impress myself, I'm like,
Yeah.
God, I fucking suck.
I know
man.
it.
I don't know
And
though,
my
man.
hands get tired.
Usually if I play for about 45 minutes, like right around there, if I do that 2 days in a row, I'm 90% back.
Yeah, but Travis, that's what I'm trying to say
Yeah.
is you still play guitar in a band.
No, I fucking don't.
I pick up the last guitar I played was my brother Hunter's, but before that, the only guitar I ever played was yours at a gig when we played
but-
once a month.
We were
You
doing
know?
sound check a couple weekends ago at
Yeah.
Rascals, and I was sitting out, and you're like, hey, can I play? I'm like, yeah.
I love to play guitar during sound
And
check.
you
know,
started
I was like-
playing, and I was just like, that's Brian Miner, man.
I can't edit that out.
no.
And I'm sitting back there, and I'm just kidding. I'm just like, maybe I should just go home.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just get
No.
a beer and hang out.
Hang out.
No.
watch
Being in
this
a band
dude.
with this guy is like,
Yeah. Because Brian,
That's sweet of you.
You you do some fucking retarded, amazing shit on guitars, dude.
I appreciate all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But when you start to see it be hindered by maybe age or
Just lack of-
maybe lack of interest
Yeah.
or doing it, you're like, oh man, I really am kind of losing it now.
Yeah, right.
And
Like I'm telling you, man, I swear that's like the sweet spot for me is if I play about 45 minutes, just 2 days in a row,
Yeah.
I'm 90% back.
you know,
dude.
I've done that a couple
90%
times. I
back.
one time I didn't play for like 6 months. Okay, and I came in and I picked up my guitar, I put it in my amp, and I put on Vinnie Moore, and
now,
I was like,
why would you do that to yourself?
because I wanted to learn his shit. So
Right.
I wanted to learn Morning Star. I picked a song. I was like, that sounds hard as fuck. I'm going to learn it right now. And I put myself to the task. And every day for a while. And my wife's like, what are you doing? That's annoying. You know, trying to do that shit.
Sure.
And I'm like, damn it. Like for a fucking hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah, people
And-
don't know how fucking annoying we were in history.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
I was
we don't
annoying
have any
myself.
idea.
I was like,
Yeah.
"Fuck, I'm gonna play it in a different key just so
Yeah.
it doesn't sound like that anymore."
Yeah.
But and finally, I was getting it, and I was getting it. I was like, "Okay." I made myself feel so much better.
Yeah, right.
And then I was like, "Fuck," and I hang the guitar up. And then 3 months later, I'm at a buddy's house, and I'm like, "I'm gonna whip that lick out, man."
Nope.
Hold on.
Yep.
I think it was Keemley was here. and
Yeah,
I was like,
right.
I was trying to do some shit.
Right.
And like, I'm like, oh fuck, man.
Right.
You have to keep up on that shit, or else you're gonna look like a dick in front of guys that
like
play all the
lifting.
time.
It's like weightlifting.
Chet Atkins very famously said, "You miss a day and you're a stranger." That's what he said about. But
God damn it.
guitar.
Yeah, it sucks because you wish you could just pick it up and play like you did when you were in your
Yeah.
20s and remember all that shit.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I pick it up and I'm like, I know like how to play Lay It Down.
I'm on this Richie Kotzen kick.
Oh, yeah.
Are you getting into him at all?
Nah, I don't really know too much about him at this point.
Check him out. He's got a solo band besides
Winery
Dogs.
Yeah.
Who it's just but no pick.
Yeah, that's right. He plays fingerstyle.
I talked to him outside
Yeah.
of the
And-
Rascals, and I said, why in the fuck are you playing with your
You can
fingers?
do almost
and he told me, I remember what he said to me,
everything.
and he might have been bullshitting.
Yeah.
But he said, he goes, I've been playing with the pick so long, and I feel like I got to a plateau with that, and I just challenged myself one day and decided, no more pick.
Yeah.
And I'm going to relearn how to play the guitar with just my fingers. And I was
He watched Jeff Beck and
Yeah.
thought, every fucking thing I want to do on the guitar, that guy does, and he
Right.
does it without a pick.
well, now
But
you've changed your whole approach.
Right, and it's
No.
a different. I want to say attack.
Yeah,
but
it is a
It makes
totally
a different
different
tone and
attack.
everything.
Absolutely.
And it's the same way when Eddie. I am so nothing against Van Halen. I got him on my arm, but when that came out, that playing just reached inside of me and just stirred something up. And
Yeah.
the same thing's now happening with the Richie Kotzen
Oh,
thing.
cool, yeah.
That's awesome.
And I'll just listen to it. I'll just watch him play and listen to it, and it'll be like,
yeah.
Yeah. All the
about,
notes that we never think of are all of a sudden there. And you're like, what the
watching
fuck
him
are
do
you
it,
talking
and
about?
it's
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
doing one of these things, and it sounds like he's it sounds
Yeah.
like an 80s tapping
Yeah,
thing,
well,
but
I
it's
mean,
but
you've
it's
got all this
No,
facility.
see,
It's more
I've listened,
tasteful.
but I've listened to that before. I've listened to the Winery Dog stuff, and I know that he says he plays with his fingers, but I guarantee there's some shit that he does that I'm like, that's got to be a pick.
There's amazing amounts of pick-like behavior you can do by grasping a pick that isn't there and
Yeah,
playing
I've
with
done
your
that
thumbnail.
too, but
I
this-
mean, I can get fucking pinch
When you get
harmonics
the
and shit with
percussion
my
of
fucking
every,
thumbnail.
it's like, come on, man, is he really like?
And there's also the whole thumb index approach to playing tremolo lines.
Yeah.
And like you listen to somebody like Danny Gatton, and you can hear him doing that shit all over the place.
That's one thing I regret. When I was coming up on guitar, I saw the dudes playing with all 4 fingers,
Yeah.
and sometimes they're pinky.
Sure.
And I watched that, and I was like, yeah, but I can still just play Detroit Rock City. And
Yeah,
be way
right,
cooler,
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Fine, yeah.
And I didn't pick that up until way later when I was playing guitar, that I started trying to play with playing with all my fingers.
Sure.
And once I was like, God, the possibilities would have been endless this way. You know,
the thing about
if you could master this with this hand and this hand, you were unstoppable. You could do
I
things
agree.
that were.
Well, if you get into hybrid picking, where when you pick with your pick, but then also are able to use these fingers, it makes it so that it isn't just about doing like banjo rolls and shit like that. It's really about being able to obviously successfully mute certain strings, to be able to rake strings with your fingers forward and backward, but then also the ability to voice chords using just sets of strings that you're not having to strum through them in order to get just the strings you want to have make sound, And
then that changes the whole dynamic of the lick.
It changes the whole way. And it changes the way that you think about the fretboard. I mean, you start thinking of things in terms of what notes are available in a position rather than in terms of just like, is what bar chord is here, Because you got to strum through it and play, most of the strings when you're using a pick that way. So,
but now all of a sudden you're doing arpeggios that sound like a scale.
You're doing arpeggios that sound like a scale. You're able to pull cross back and forth between sets of strings in order to ring out, to allow open strings to ring out as a viable note. I mean, there's all kinds of things about hybrid picking that really. Now, the thing that I appreciate about what you're saying though is that it does change the overall kind of texture of your attack, though. That once you go into that realm, you lose that hard picked sound. You don't have that anymore,
But that's what I was saying. In the Winery Dogs, it sounds like he's hard picking.
Yeah.
But he's supposed to be using his fingers.
Especially if you use acrylic nails, which a lot of guys do. They put on these fucking, they go down and have the Vietnamese ladies fucking put these acrylic fingernails on that are fucking indestructible.
Okay.
It's like having a pick.
Favorite guitar solo of all time?
I think it's probably still When Push Comes to Shove, Eddie Van Halen. That's probably my favorite one.
Guitar solo of all time?
Well, it's new now because it's off the Winery Dogs, and it's a song called "The Dying."
Oh, man.
That song is that solo is
that's
like
off the first one. That's off the first CD. The Dying.
It is
fucking great record.
It takes you on a. I mean, really, I'd like to know your input on this too, and what you would think of that, because it takes you on a ride, and when you get done listening to it, you're just like.
Yeah,
you're exhausted, just like like you're supposed to be.
And we've been listening to music for God,
and you can tell it's not just somebody like, I'm going to construct this solo that's got this cool lick, and how am I going to blend this cool lick to this cool lick?
Sure,
it's really musical, and it takes you there.
It makes you feel something.
Yeah, and it's really cool, man. He's really talented. I agree with you. I mean, not a lot of people know what the Winery Dogs are. You know, Billy Sheehan.
They don't have any hits. They're not on the radio. But
Mike Portnoy, Billy Sheehan, and Richie Kotzen,
who was in Poison,
who was in Poison,
but he was
a Shrapnel Records guy.
Right.
I mean, he was.
He's a guitar player, man.
He really is, dude. I mean,
I talked to him outside. Richie Kotzen's a bit,
player.
and he told me that I asked him about the Poison thing. I said, "So you were in Poison for a while," and I told him I'm a guitar player too, and you don't know me from Adam. You don't know if I'm good, bad, if I suck, if I'm a wannabe, or whatever it is, but I know how good you are, and I aspire to be where you're at. Right. And what was it? What was the whole motivation of doing Poison? And he's like, obviously money. You know. He said, but I got to be honest. When I went and tried out for the first time, when it was people were lining up, a bunch of fucking dudes in leather jackets. They were wanting to be the next CC DeVille. And he said, when I showed up, I had not rehearsed any songs. I didn't take the time. I just kind of figured it out in my head what it might be, and I just kind of went through it that way. And I really failed the audition.
Yeah.
He said I was horrible. I didn't know their songs, and I just kind of.
But dude.
And then one of them asked. I think it was Brett Michaels. He said, "Well, let's hear some of your originals then." And he started playing his stuff and singing it, and they were like, "You're in."
Yeah.
Yeah, he can
because
sing too.
you just wrote our next record.
Yeah.
and we're gonna ride on that, and that's legit, and it sounds different than Poison, and it's something we're gonna ride on, and you're gonna still get your 16th of the royalties or whatever,
Right.
but that's the ship I want to sail on, and he was more like they used me, you know.
Yeah, sure.
They kicked behind the music.
Yeah,
They kicked him off the bus.
yeah. Well, because he fucked Ricky Rocket's wife or something.
Yeah. Well,
but
yeah.
he said that they were already broken up or whatever. But
Remember, I remember talking.
no, I asked him. I'm that kind of guy. I'm
still
like,
don't
so
fucking-
I heard you got out of Poison because you fucked Ricky Rocket's.
I was
wife.
there. We were smoking
Yeah.
cigarettes
Right.
in the
Yeah.
side parking lot, and
Yeah.
he was like Johnny Depp. He's like, oh yeah, man.
Yeah, but he was being honest. He's like,
Everything's
look,
real
man.
quiet. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I heard that, but they were already broke up. He was already being a douchebag to her, and what are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Plus, the chick's hot. She wants to fuck.
Yeah, plus she's hot. And she wants to
Exactly.
fuck,
Players.
so. At least he can go. Yeah, I was in Poison, and I fucked Ricky Rocket's
Exactly.
wife. So
Well,
if you're gonna go, if you're too talented to be in the band to begin with, you might as well fuck one of their wives before you
Yeah,
leave,
well,
right?
Go out on a, getting some.
Is that why I'm an asshole?
No, you're not an asshole. It's just that we're all, every male is faced with this same fucking, do it, fuck it,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and if some chick shows up and she's like, I'll do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do it. Here you go. Okay.
But anyway, that was an interesting conversation. It was heartbreaking for me because I also got to talk to Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater.
Right, which you were like, oh, I'm a huge fan, and he was all like, that band sucked.
That's exactly right. It was one of them situations where
You're an idiot for liking that band.
When you finally get to talk to the drummer of Dream Theater one-on-one out in the parking lot, it's just you and him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's standing there waiting for you to say something to him. You're having a conversation now, and you're just like, so, man, we're in Moline, that Dream Theater is like huge to me, right? 'Cause that's when I turned into MDR right then. I'm like, if they'd say this into a microphone, this would be awesome, but they wouldn't. I'm like, Dream Theater is, one of the reasons I ever, sang. I love James LaBrie. He's one of my favorite singers, and he was like, that guy fucking sucks. You know what I mean? He's like, that guy's an asshole. He fucking, anytime we have band meetings, he got his earbuds in. He's not listening to us. He's fucking vacant. He never shows up for shit. He thinks he's the shit and whatever, all this stuff.
Yep.
He sucks. And I couldn't wait to get in another band away from him. I was like heartbroken. I was like, oh my God.
Really behind the scenes.
Oh,
Way
fuck. He was not happy with James LaBrie at all. That was like the worst dude you could ever
Yeah.
mention to him.
Now, does James LaBrie play any other instruments? I mean, is he?
No, he's just a vocalist.
He's just a vocalist.
Yeah.
Okay. See, now I think there is something to this. I'm seeing a pattern that if there is a vocalist in a band that doesn't really do anything else instrumentally, they are fucked up people. I don't know exactly why that is. And I'm not saying that it isn't just that they don't do other things in the band. It's like that's all they really do musically is sing for a rock band. There's just
but
something.
it was James LaBrie and Sebastian Bach. It was Slave to the Grind and Images and Words that was in my fucking cassette tape in my van when I was trying to learn how to sing. And James LaBrie was one of the people that when he didn't sing like a scream. It was opened up. It was above. It was at your falsetto, but it was still a full note. So it taught me how to sing from here.
Yeah, to sing there from.
And then once you start singing like that, you can't do anything else.
Well, you
can't
guys, you
sing-
realize there's
yeah.
a whole fucking power band right there that you can access.
Well, my range went out of control because
Yeah.
now I could access that really high thing
Yeah.
that I had and the lower registers but there was a middle part at one point
It's
that I
the
was
transition,
super
yeah.
scared of.
Yeah.
It's that change before chest to head.
Yes.
And I had to learn because he sings in that area a lot.
Yeah.
And he still sounds powerful. And so does Sebastian Bach. That's what they do. They're right on that part that most people give up on because it's where they start to go,
It's the yodel zone.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's totally the yodel zone,
The fucking
yeah.
yodel zone. And
But that's the mark of a great singer, and that's when, and I'm not trying to kiss your ass or nothing. We're friends. I don't have to. But you still sound like a man, but you can hit the high stuff.
I don't know, man. If you listen to old Drop Hammer stuff, I sound like if I sound like a boy at all, it's a 12-year-old boy. And no, I'm not trying to rip on myself. It sounded good to me. I mean, I still liked it, but it was there. I was trying to sound like Sebastian Bach, and I couldn't get any break.
Yeah,
I
right.
couldn't get any roughage.
get that rough,
I couldn't get that smoke in my
hard,
voice.
dude.
And I remember Jeff Styles and Drop Hammer. He told me, he said, man. He said, because I said I was broke down one day. I was wanting to quit.
Yeah.
as a singer, because I just couldn't do what I wanted to do, which was sound like Sebastian Bach or sound like Foreigner or
sound like somebody else.
Whatever that was special to your voice, And I was ready to give up as a singer. And I said to him, I was like, man, I feel like I sound like a girl. I think people don't like our band because of my voice, and I feel like I'm holding us back because I'm in this role. And he said, Brian, right now you feel that way, but that shit don't happen to your voice until you're experienced. That shit don't happen to your voice until you are over 30.
Now,
there's some exceptions. I mean, Silverchair, obviously, he was 14 when he sounded like that.
Sure.
You're going out of the way too, bad boy. The way his voice is breaking up in that, it's like, God damn, that's a kid.
Yeah.
But that's really rare.
It is kind of
that happens. But he said that Foreigner sound doesn't happen to you until after you turn 30 and your voice kind of matures. It's like a wine.
He said, was he right?
Yeah, there's something that gets me. That's my shit, man. I like it when a singer can get up there and I'm not talking about like Steelheart. I really don't even care for Steelheart. I really don't even like the way he sounds when he hits high notes.
The dude was a mutant, kind of like King Diamond is a fucking
absolutely,
mutant,
or
you don't necessarily
or
like
Nitro
it.
or something like that.
Right, exactly. You don't necessarily like it, but you
when
can appreciate
when Jeff Tate hit certain notes, it tickled you.
Yeah.
And when Sebastian Bach hit certain notes and runs and little things that he did that was one breath, it hit that thing. Yeah. And you're like, God damn, I wish I could do that.
Yeah, those guys wish they could do it. You know, at this point, I mean.
Yeah.
Marlboro Reds and Jack Daniels.
Yeah, that's exactly. All the pussy you can eat.
You know, sit back and listen, you motherfuckers. All you young guys, please. I've said this before. I think like episode 5 I said this before. You think you're a vocalist? Go back and listen to Whitesnake's first record. Go listen to fucking David Coverdale cut tracks. Yeah. He did that shit in one take. Okay? He's that kind of singer. Okay? Go back and listen to go listen to Slave to the Grind. Go listen to vocal performances on there. And I don't care if it's okay, that's great. That's something I can't do. That's something I don't understand. But as far as singing, go listen to these guys that you make fun of and at least appreciate what it is. Because goddamn it, you can say Sebastian Bach and people Brian still likes the 80s shit. Like sing like
Quicksand Jesus.
Sing Quicksand Jesus. But then you see him live.
Dude.
Somebody sent me a video recently of Sebastian Bach doing the cruise ship and he blew. He sucked. His voice is shot.
Well, he's like 43.
Yeah. Motherfucker.
Yeah. I'm at 53.
Yeah, he's almost 50 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, his voice isn't the same as it was when he was 22. Okay, so fuck you.
When the audience started singing, he was like, whew.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have to feel bad anymore.
Thank goodness.
We don't want to hear that from a barrel-bellied fucking drunk.
Yeah, he was really putting off fucking belting the opening of that song, too, man.
Yeah.
He'd let that guitar player play about 80 extra measures.
But I still hold him responsible for some of the my most favorite recorded vocals of our time. Yeah. And he still did that with his throat and with his singing ability. And he not only that, but he okayed it after he was done and said, that's my style.
Yeah.
And that's what he sold himself as. So that's what I latch onto. The fact that he can't do it now anymore, you know what I mean?
Okay, so then
it just ain't there no more.
There are some people, though, that are fucking weird mutants. Like Rob Halford, dude. I mean, how old is that fucking dude now? And I don't know, maybe the most recent thing I saw him singing was only maybe 5 years ago. And dude, he still fucking had it all. He can still fucking sing all of it, man.
I don't think he lived that hard though because of his lifestyle.
Well, and semen is good for the throat too.
Yeah.
But
I've little throat coat, little fucking the one that coats is the only one you need.
I'm having a blast. Listen, but what you're talking about is somewhat of an anomaly.
Yeah,
because
he's a mutant.
Your body changes so quickly. I mean, in 10 years' time, there's so much difference in how your body's made and the way your voice sounds. It would be hard to emulate yourself as an 18-year-old.
Right.
I couldn't sing my record that I did in 96 and sound anywhere near that anymore.
Sure.
Thank God.
Yeah, right.
Or to some people's dismay, maybe.
Yeah, right.
But for me, I'm like, God, thank God there's like this break in my voice now that it sounds a little bit more matured.
Yeah.
And back then I couldn't get that.
So
it was
Styles.
all really
so
clean.
what you're saying is Styles was right.
I couldn't sound like that anymore because my throat is different.
Yeah, it's different.
fucking 20 years
so
older
now it's got a
now.
break in it.
Yeah, it's
and that's
just-
what you were looking for.
It's
Simon Says Uncle, we played a show. And
Yeah.
we the opening band didn't make it, so we had to kill some time.
Oh.
We did Dream On, and John Kiss
Yeah.
hit. I mean, it was one of those nights. His voice was just on.
That dude is, speaking of mutants.
and we were up in Rock Falls or whatever, and it was
right.
and I mean, it was just brought chill. I
Yeah.
got my arms. I was just like, damn, he nailed it. And we get done playing that song, and it was just nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Kevin
no.
Sampson.
Nothing.
Kevin Sampson's like, and I'm like, what are we gonna do now? We played everything.
Talk
He's
dirty
like,
to me.
Talk dirty to me. Dance floor packed, standing ovation. I'm like, wow.
Yep.
All right, quick. Let's play some Tool.
Yeah. It's like, hey,
Make everybody when you want everybody to leave the bar.
Exactly.
so, yeah, I mean, you get addicted to that quick, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The shit that makes people like this, and that's exactly what we're trying to do. Every time I put the set list together, I look at the situation.
Right.
All right, we're playing nothing but Poison and fucking
Yes.
and then I look, 14 guys with Slayer shirts. Okay, we're not playing.
Bullet Boys.
We're done.
Yeah,
right.
I try to. I'm like, well, I hope you guys know some Metallica songs because you adapt for what you're playing in front of.
You try to, as best you can anyway.
And I knew at Kelly's we were like, we're trying to gain new people that think we're a party band, and we're going to play all of our party stuff.
Sure.
It's but then you come to Rascals, and we open it with Body Talk, which probably 90% of the people don't know what it is.
Right.
It's an old Rat song,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then-
right.
And then
Anybody that's ever seen the movie The Golden Child
Right.
ought to have that song pretty fucking well burned into their brain.
or Baby Loves You by Enough's Enough. They're like, what's this? So, you know what? I really had a lot of fun on my birthday episode here, and we have a lot of fun doing this, and thank you for letting me be me and talk too much and get a little drunk and talk shit. And
Hey,
thanks, Jeff.
You look pretty good for an old man. You're
I
doing
do.
all right.
I'm not too
You're
bad.
doing all right.
And my wife's hot as fuck too.
I'd fuck you.
Listen, man, for a 43-year-old, I'm doing pretty good, man. Rock and roll has been pretty good to me. But to be 43 years old and be doing a podcast in what's supposed to be my daughter's bedroom.
Yeah, right. That's a little bit odd.
Yeah, it's a little weird, but
Yeah.
whatever, man. You do what you got to do, and I've always been a believer of just going and doing what you want to do, and who cares what everybody thinks? And we've got some people that dig what we do, and them are my friends. So thank you very much for watching MDR, and we'll be back again to talk some more shit. Episode 55. Oh, go to West Music, buy something. Go to Nar City, get your concert shirts or your band shirts, whatever. Thanks, Jeff. Travis.
Hey, happy birthday, fuckface.
Hey, thank you very much. We'll see what's up, man. See you next time.
Bye.
Oh, shit. I said